Mic check 1 2. 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 What's happening, people? What's happening, people? What's happening? What's happening? Mic check 1 2. Mic check 1 2. Can you hear me? Mic check 1 2. Mic check 1 2. Can you hear me? Mic check 1 2. Mic check 1 2. Can you hear me? What's going on, people? What's crack-a-lacking? What's the dealio? What's crack-a-lacking? What's the dealio? Talk to me. Talk to me. Talk to me. How you doing? How you doing? It's been a while. I know it's been a while. Apologies for the radio silence. Apologies for the radio silence, but we're back. Apologies for the radio silence, but we are back. What's going on, people? What's going on? Talk to me. How you doing? How you doing? How you doing? Random show, random show, random show, random show, random show. Episode number 509. Episode number 509. Episode number 509. Bryan Callen is the saddest, oldest comedian in the world. We are back. We are back. We are back like cooked. Welcome back to the random show. Welcome back to the random show. So good to have you here once again. So good to have you here once again. Apologies. Ooh, nice beverage, that. Nice beverage. But big up everybody in the stream chat. Big up everybody tuning in. Appreciate you. Big up everybody tuning in. Appreciate you. Big up everybody tuning in. I appreciate you all greatly. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for being here. If you're wondering where I've been, I just need a little bit of a break. Nothing too crazy. But if you do want to get a little bit more of a deep dive into where I've been, why I've been gone, make sure you check out the latest episode of the Taz bonus show, episode number 35 on my Patreon. On my Patreon right now, check it out at patreon.com/Agostino, where I dive a little bit more deeper. I get a little bit more in the weeds as to where I've been, what my mind state has kind of been, but to kind of give you an overview, a generalized kind of like, you know, okay, I'm fine, nothing's wrong. All my limbs are here, fingers and everything else in between. No crazy passing in the family, don't worry, everything's fine. But I just need a little bit of a break, and now we are back. But if you want more detail, check out the Patreon at patreon.com/Agostino for more information. But whilst we're on the topic of Patreon, I've got a couple posts on there actually, just to kind of let you guys know, some shameless shilling over here. Check out my Patreon. I've uploaded a couple new clips. I'm going to start doing them more regularly now going forward. I've got to be on it more often now. So I've got the first one. I do a real big deep dive into the back and forth. Not really a back and forth. Mostly Rogan going at Mark Maron. I've got Joe Rogan demolishes Mark Maron deep dive on my Patreon available now. This is where Rogan speaks to Callen in detail about Mark Maron and even names him. This is something Rogan doesn't usually do. He names Mark Maron by name, kind of speaks about why he doesn't like him, why he thinks Mark Maron doesn't like him. He doesn't necessarily address many of Mark Maron's points, to be fair. He doesn't really stress Mark Maron's points, but he does do a good job to articulate why he thinks Mark Maron is the way he is. I still think he does a bad job in terms of purposely characterizing why Mark Maron's upset or why he doesn't like that particular brand of comedy in his group of people. But in general, I go over it in exhaustive detail. Check it out at patreon.com/Agostino. And I've also got a brand new Taz bonus show, which I'm going to be doing more often now going forward. I've got my members only shows I do here, live streams. I'm going to be having more clips and reactions and stuff on the Patreon, so definitely make sure you check it out. And if you're not aware, Patreon, I think the tier starts at 99 cents, and that covers all content really, to be honest. Very rarely I put stuff on higher tiers. If you just want to support the Patreon, it starts at 99 cents, $1, a real fucking bargain. And obviously there's more tiers going up if you want to support that way. But regardless of what I do, there's a there's a $1 tier there for everybody to have access to all of that malarkey. You can find it at patreon.com/Agostino. Link to my Patreon should be in my description. but I'll definitely put it in the chat just in case you guys don't have access to it. So definitely make sure you sign to the Patreon. Definitely make sure you sign to the Patreon. Big up Game Bread. Yeah, for sure. There's gonna be members only live streams. I think I might actually maybe tomorrow I should do it. If I wake up enough time, maybe tomorrow I'll do a members only live stream actually, which will just be a regular live stream like this, but the chat will be for members only. So if I wake up tomorrow in time, I'll actually do that, be a members only live stream. Thank you for the reminder. Big up Game Bread. I think I'll actually do that tomorrow because I haven't done one of those in a while. But that's the Patreon. Check it out if you want. Check it out if you want. Check it out if you want. Big up in the stream chat. How you guys been, man? Let me go. Where you guys been? Big up Sean. AZ on a mental health retreat in Ibiza. I wish, bro. I wish. Big up Mr. Studio Girl. Berlin's calling. I'm actually going next week. I'm actually going next weekend, actually. Going to Berlin next weekend. So be prepared to hear some content from me on that regard. That should be pretty good. For the 20-year, for the Innovision 20-year party sort of in the tour I'm doing. So the plan is to go next weekend. But let's see how it plays out. So I missed quite a bit in it. I've missed quite a bit. A lot of stuff has happened since I've been away. A lot of stuff has happened. A lot of stuff has transpired. We're going to try and get through quite a lot of it today. It's going to be a bit of a long one. Please make sure if you have anything to say to me, tag me in the chat, super chats, all that malarkey, because I'm just going to be steamrolling through it. There's so much to get through that I've missed out on. So let's go bit by bit, clip by clip, okay? Bit by bit, clip by clip, and then we're going to go into some other stuff as well. But I've got so much to get through. I'm really excited about today. So much to get through. So sit back, relax, grab yourself a drink, and let's fucking go. So first things first. Random little clip. You know, you guys, how I keep mentioning how I'm a big fan of Choosing the Stories, right? I like listening to Joe List and Mark Norman do their thing. Over the last few months, I've kind of gone off it a little bit, mostly because of Mark Norman and Joe List. Mark Norman is very neurotic. He's very anxiety ridden. He's also, I don't know, he seems to enjoy being very chaotic and very disorganized. He loves doing this thing where he books a bunch of shows on the same weekend or the same day. Some of them require flights and stuff, or connecting flights, and he loves to just like really push it to the end limit in terms of getting these connecting flights. I don't know what it is about me. Maybe it's something to do with me, because I'm one of those, I'm like a boomer. I'm one of those fucking Karens, aunties, uncles who go to an airport 4 hours in advance. I don't play no games when it comes to airports. That's why I've only missed a flight once, and that time I missed a flight wasn't my fault. The one time I missed a flight was to go to Barcelona, and I only missed it because the coach that I took was literally stuck in traffic. Like I took it all in the amount of time I need to take it, but I was just unlucky that day. But I don't play when it comes to flights, and I don't know. There's something about this guy's time management skills that gives me a lot of anxiety, that kind of stresses me out. So I stopped listening to it. You know, I stopped listening to it because of that. But I do check in from time to time, because I do find Joe List and Mark Norman's comedy styles to be quite complementary. I like their fucking chemistry, and I think the show's pretty funny anyway. But it is hard to get through because of Mark's like frantic nature and shit. Anyway, recently, on the recent episode, Joe List at the beginning of the episode calls out Mark because I guess they had like a string of live shows or something this past weekend or something that they had to do, and Mark Norman turned up late to their own live shows. On top of him, it seems like turning up quite late to their own podcast they record together, which is already annoying, right? If you do a podcast with somebody, you're a fucking devilish duo, and you can't start the show until your fucking podcast host gets into the studio, it's a little bit annoying if they're always late to record a pod and they're always late to do live shows. So this was a really interesting call out because it made the rest of the show very awkward and tense. You could tell Mark was very kind of, you know, he was kind of a bit, he kind of felt a little bit awkward, didn't know what to say. But Joe List also had to call him out because he's probably just had enough of him turning up late. So this is a really, really funny little interaction between these two guys. One person trying to, in the most nicest way possible, tell their friend to fix up, but also make it very clear and make it very obvious that they're pissed off, you know, without being too harsh on them. But I thought it was really funny interaction. Let's play the clip.
clit ring, the breastfeeding.
That's true.
So there is an extra element, but maybe don't take the gig then.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I have a
But,
point.
you know, some people take too many gigs and then can't make it to one of them often, almost every night also.
But that's a stretch.
Well,
Ouch.
maybe running
Every night.
behind, a little late. Where's he? Where's this guy? Can you go next? Can you go first? Can you go last? He's not here. This, you know who's not here. I say, all right, I had a feeling. Or they go, hey, yeah, he's on next. And I'm like, well, that's funny because I just saw him at another club and there was 2 more before he was going on. But
here we are.
here we are.
Well.
Well, I feel like I upset you. I'm sorry.
No, I don't know. I was about to make a zing about today, but I felt bad because it's my house, so I don't have to go anywhere.
10:30 a.m.
Did you make it?
Yeah.
Oh,
And it's
wow.
one time. How many times have I been late to this podcast, would you say?
6.
And 12 years? I think that's probably about right.
That's pretty good.
I'd say that's about accurate. And the train stopped.
Yeah.
I wasn't at another pod.
Oh.
And he farts. Here we are.
Here we go. What the hell was I going to say?
I don't know how I upset you.
No, I'm not upset. I had something. Oh! Boulder, Colorado.
Please, get in there. Tell me about it.
That was so awkward. Oh my god. Big up Joe List, man. Big up Joe List. Big up Joe List. Big up Mark. Big up Mark Normand. That was so painfully awkward and tense. Oh my diddly gosh. It's gonna be hard though because I've worked in partnerships before. One in particular that kind of fell by the wayside. Oh, sorry, I'm burping too much here. Oof. One particular partnership that I had, I think I mentioned it before to you guys, that I had an unfortunate falling out with an ex-friend of mine. We used to promote these really cool parties called So Special back in the day. At one of the best kind of like dive bars, basement bars back in the day that we used to have here in London called Yalabai in Dawson, legendary fucking club. We did one of the longest running club nights there called So Special that we were actually killing it with. We could have probably taken it on and did loads of other shows around the country and turned it into a proper brand and shit. But anyway, we didn't do well with it. And in the end, we kind of fell out, mostly because we kind of didn't really communicate well with each other in terms of making it clear or being at least open to having a conversation around things that maybe annoyed each other. You know, the things that we annoyed each other with. We never had that conversation. And then as time went on and those things were never addressed, more time would go on, more space would open up. And if you guys know, when there's space, there's an opportunity for you to kind of start making up things, right? For you to kind of start seeing things that aren't necessarily there, for you to start filling in the voids. And obviously when we filled in the voids, the things that we filled in the voids with aren't necessarily complementary to each other. So I think if you're working in a partnership with somebody, you really owe it to your partnership and to your friendship to make sure you have those tough conversations. First off, like straight away. As soon as you feel away, as soon as you're a bit pissed off, whatever it may be, you'll really owe it to your friendship to say it. And the quicker you can have those conversations, however uncomfortable and awkward they are, the more likely it is that you guys are going to be in it for the long haul and be able to overcome whatever issue you had there. But when you let those things fester, and in my case, or in our case, or my ex-friend, we let it fester. We never addressed those type of things. We were never brave enough or whatever to say these things in front of each other or to pull each other up on certain things. I think one of the main things we really kind of had a hard job kind of really honing down was the delineation of like roles. I felt like I was doing too much and not getting enough, and I'm sure he felt like he was doing too much and not getting enough, you know. So there wasn't a clear delineation of like, okay, how much compensation are you getting for the effort that you're doing? How can we make this fair? How can we make this kind of, you know, reflective of what someone's putting in or not putting in? And just general things as well, you know, who looks after what? I don't know. We just didn't do it well, and in the end, it kind of cost us our friendship. No, don't get me wrong. Maybe even if we didn't fall out, we probably would have been long-term friends. But I do think that was one of those clear ones where it was very obvious that we were unwilling to have those conversations, and in the end, somebody else, obviously the bar manager, big up Dino, he's a fucking legend, but still, you know, he's the one that kind of like was able to exploit that little bit of a gap between us, you know. He didn't necessarily try and mend it, but he did exploit it, playing us off each other, giving us our own nights. I don't know, it got a bit weird. It got a bit weird. It got a bit weird. It got a bit very, 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 very weird. I think one of the main things I remember kind of feeling a bit put off by was when I found out he was doing another club night in that club. You know, I was like, But he wasn't really. If looking back, I don't think he was. I think he was just DJing at another club night in the club. You're allowed to do that, you know? And he had his own friends that had other parties that wanted him to play at and didn't necessarily want me to play at, maybe because they're their friends, maybe because they didn't think I was good enough, who knows? But it just turned into a thing, you know? It's really unfortunate how it kind of went on. But it's nice to see that Joe List and Mark have this relationship where they can call each other out this way. Now with me, if I was Joe List, I don't think I could have this patience with Mark, because I feel like from listening to the podcast, I'm sure some of you guys are the same when it comes to me and stuff and other people you kind of follow and watch. You can kind of get a good grip, a good understanding, a good gauge on what a person's like personality wise. And I have a feeling Mark Norman's like a chronically, you know, late guy. You know, he's probably never ever on time. He's probably always rushing last minute. You know, Joe is always waiting for him at the airport, waiting for him at the taxi fucking rank, waiting for him at the venue, waiting for him in the green room, waiting for him outside of his house, outside the studio. Mark's the type of person that always makes you wait. So I think with a person like that, I think I'd have my limit. You know, there's a limit with people like that. I don't think I'll be able to survive as long as Joe List has been able to survive. That's probably a marker of their real friendship and brotherhood. But I really don't think I would be able to survive this long with a person like Mark, because Mark kind of like, because I think that's what makes him brilliant, right? What makes Mark Norman brilliant, it's almost like Bobby Lee thing, right? That kind of like reluctance to grow up, that unwillingness to kind of get your shit together is what makes him brilliant. So Mark Norman, you know, not willing to have an assistant book his flights correctly or have enough time in between his gigs to be able to appear at the next show is what makes him brilliant. Like that kind of like, you know, rushy, last minute kind of like disheveled thing that he does. But if you're his friend, if you're his colleague, if you're a business partner, it's going to be hard to deal with. So God bless people that can deal with this stuff day to day. I personally couldn't, but I do think it's really important when you're in a creative partnership or partnership of any ilk that you have clear lines of communication. You're ready and you're willing and able to have those uncomfortable conversations at all points of frustration. Or no, at the moment of frustration, right? At the inception of frustration, you're able to have those conversations. It will definitely suit you the better going forward. But again, what do I know? Nothing. We got the stream chat. The lack of spine says, more for real, nothing worse than being friends with somebody who low-key hates you. Oh, okay. Are you saying, okay, see, I don't know how if I agree with that. I think Big Booth is saying the thing what people say where if you don't respect people's time, you hate them. You know how people say that. Some people say if you're always late, like imagine if you're a friend, you have a friend that is always late for your meetings, like you organize a or get together, whatever, and they're always late. They always leave you waiting. Some people say that if a person does that, they don't really like you. They secretly hate you because they don't respect your time. You both agree to meet at a pub at 10. And they rock up at fucking 11:30. They don't respect you. They don't like you. I don't necessarily think that's always true. There are just some people who are just terrible with their timekeeping, but or just flaky. But I do think it is a piss take. Like there's a place, like, and you see it a lot in London. There's a place in London here called Liverpool Street, and you see it so often on the weekends. It's heartbreaking. Or on after works on a Friday. It's so heartbreaking. So heartbreaking. You'll go to Liverpool Street Station and you'll see people waiting in the middle section of the benches, sitting there waiting for their friends. And sometimes if I'm just, I don't know, if I'm there waiting for a train or I'm just people watching while I'm eating my McDonald's, you'll see a girl sitting next to you, clearly waiting for a friend. And she'll sit there for a good 20 minutes in her dress, in her little heels, drinking her little mixer drink from M&S. And the friend will rock up at like 25 minutes later, half an hour later. Oh, sorry. It's like, brother, How do you let your friend just like sit here on their own? Like, friend, even more so for a woman, right? Sitting in the middle of Liverpool Street Station just waiting for you for fucking 25 minutes. That is a piss take. And you see a lot more with girls. Weirdly enough, I think so. I see a lot more with girls. You see a lot more with girls friendship groups. Like, there's always a person in that girl friendship group that takes the fucking piss with punctuality. Like, agree to meet them at fucking 7 p.m. at Liverpool Street Station, and they rock up at fucking 7:45, 7:25. Like, 25 minutes for you when you're running late is nothing, but for the person that's on time, that's torturous, because they could have been there from 10 to 7. They could have been there from 10 to 7. They could have been there from 10 to 7, bro. You know? And then you rock up at fucking 7:25. Like, and honestly, I swear to God, you see it so often from like Thursday to like Saturday at Liverpool Street Station. You just see these girls waiting for their friends, clearly on a night out, with their little glittery bag. Maybe it's a birthday thing. They got a drink in the backpack or something, and they're just waiting there in their kind of going out clothes. They're feeling a little bit awkward, feeling a little bit exposed. They're probably getting catcalled and bothered, and you're just leaving them there to the wolves for a good 20-30 minutes. Like, some friends are bullshit, but I do know there's some people out there that cut people off like that. They'll give you 1 or 2 chances, and if you do that again, they cut you off. You know what I mean? They stop inviting you out. They stop making plans with you, or if you make plans with them, they only leave when you've actually left. Like, people are mad like that.
You have a gun?
Pick up Abe Martinez.
Went on a date. A woman who was 45 meters late. Friends called me Grace for staying and waiting. It didn't go bad, but she wasn't the one for me. It is respectful.
40. That's the thing. The women are weird, though, isn't it? 45 minutes isn't really a sign that she doesn't like you. It's probably more of a sign that she's really nervous and was taking extra long to get ready. You know, that's the thing with women. I think I would have done the same thing as you, Abe Martinez. Man, don't be too hard on yourself. I get your friends, you know, telling you not to do it, but don't be too hard on yourself. I think I would have done the same thing. Dates are weird like that. Like, women are weird like that. Women can take long like that, and it not be a reflection of them not liking you, and more a reflection of them being a bit nervous for the day, really looking forward to it, having a little bit of, like, you know, last minute jitters when it comes to a wardrobe and what to wear and shit, what makeup to put on, what shoes to put on, whatever else it may be. So I don't necessarily think that's a bad indication all the way around, but I think I would have done it. I think I definitely would. I think I waited an hour. I'm not gonna lie. I think in my real damn bad phase, I think I've waited an hour. I'm pretty sure I've waited an hour. I'm pretty sure I've waited an hour. And let's just say I waited an hour and still didn't get none. Yes. Yes. Big up Jealous, my government name. Big up Mr. Ovens Hart. Big up Miles Broom. I hate a girl who's always running late. Big up Big Booth Joe. Listen, needs a pod. Mark doesn't. That's a good point. Ooh, that's a brutal truth, isn't it, Big Booth? I didn't think about it. That's a really brutal truth. Mark Norman doesn't really need the pod, does he? He's making, also doesn't need the pod, but he's making a lot of money, I'd imagine, right? We Might Be Drunk probably gets more views than Choosing with Stories, right? I'm assuming, right? I wouldn't want to check. I'll just go for what I think in my head. But I think We Might Be Drunk probably gets more views than Tuesdays with Stories, and it's probably a funner show to do, right? Getting drunk and shit with Sam Morril. Probably a way more funner show, because if I'm not mistaken, Jonas is sober, right? Jonas is a sober guy, so yeah, you're right on that one. Big up David Camp. Have missed the show, thanks for coming back. No problem, David. Like I said before, nothing too crazy, just need a little bit of a break. But if you want to have a full rundown as to why I've been away, check out my Patreon, patreon.com/Agostino. Bonus episode number 35. In the first 20 minutes or so, I discuss why I've been away in detail. If you want to know, it's nothing crazy, but if you want to check it out, check out the Patreon. Big up Mr. AZ. How about the parents that don't respect the time because they still view you as a child? That's what grinds. Oh yeah, for sure. The parents thing, you don't really have any say, so you just got to take that one, bro. You just got to take that one. The parents thing, you don't have anything, just like nothing you could do. I'm not about to pull up my parents, have a conversation. Like, it's not gonna happen. Nothing's gonna change. So you just gotta like literally grin and bear that one. You just gotta suck that one up, really. Big up Mister. Big up Sean. Passive aggressiveness way of saying you ain't shit to me. True. Big up J1B. You're watching Girls in the Station now. AZ sounds like a good kick stream. Unironically, yes. I know J1B is trying to make it sound like I'm a sex pest or a weirdo, but unironically, going to fucking Liverpool Street Station on a Friday night and just kicking up with a fucking double cheeseburger and a fucking, what you call it, and an M&S mixer, right, isn't a bad idea. And just putting the stream on and just sitting down and chatting to people randomly, talking to the chat and just seeing what I'll go on for a couple of hours. It's not that bad of an idea, you know. The amount of weird and crazy people that walk around Liverpool Street Station is not that bad of an idea. Walking around Liverpool Street Station, sitting in the station, walking outside the KFC, outside the Weatherspoons, the smoking area. Like, it's not that bad of an idea. It's not really that bad of an idea, honestly. Would I do it though? Another question, but it's not a bad idea. Big up J1B. Big up Why Not. I'm not waiting 45 minutes unless she can eat a in one bite. It's hilarious. I've been on the opposite sides of the spectrum. If she likes, she will make time. Trust me. No, for sure. Big up A Martinez. Yeah, but I went on a second date with her next night and she was on time and punctual. We had a better chemistry anyway. Yeah, true. Exactly. It can happen. I don't, honestly, when it comes to girls, I don't take punctuality as like a be all and end all, you know, because I know sometimes girls can be late for many numerous things. You know, that time of the month, just late because they're late, work, family stuff, nerves. I don't really take that too personally, I'm not going to lie. And I've definitely, like I said, I've definitely waited an hour, so I'm not going to sit here and start chastising people. Waiting an hour is simp territory. Big Booth says, yep, call me Simpstino then, mate. Call me Simpstino. What's the special guy's name who you met? What's the special guy's name whom you met? What do you mean? The guy I did the club night with. His name was Miles. Big up Miles wherever he is. Big up Miles. Big up Miles. The guy I did the night with, I think you're talking about, right? His name was Miles. Big up Miles. Ason AZ, did you ever get into the Mike Israel Tay stuff? I don't know what that is. Big up Dave Camp. I'm a washcloth using pour, but thanks for the offer. Big up Ryan Harty. Joe List keeps posting horrible jokes on Facebook and gets zero. Oh, don't say that. Big up Ryan Harty. Miss you too, mate. Big up Ryan Harty. Don't say that, Ryan Harty. Joe List keeps posting horrible jokes on Facebook and gets zero. Allow. Okay, I don't want to know that. I don't want to know that. That's so heartbreaking. Big up Ason. AZ is a people watcher, and big up Big Booth. Augustino Simper. I like that. Augustino Simper is great. I love that. Augustino Simper is fucking brilliant. Big up Big Booth. I love that. Let's continue. This is a great clip, right? This is a great clip and also a somewhat heartbreaking clip. This young lady, right? What's her name again? Mariana Van Zella. Big up Mariana Van Zella. She decided to make a very jokingly light-hearted, somewhat serious suggestion that Rogan should interview Gavin Newsom. Now, most of you know Rogan's had a lot to say about California, LA for the last few years. He obviously has moved to Texas now. He's still got California in his mind. And he's also had a lot of negative things to say about Gavin Newsom and the way he governs that state, blah, 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 blah. And now that Gavin Newsom is on this like tilt of like trying to run for presidency and, you know, trying to be a little bit more forward face, a little bit on the front foot, kind of dabble in meme culture, and be a little bit, I won't say edgy, but basically take the Trump approach to social media and, you know, and just in general, just kind of media and how he carries himself. He's doing a lot more podcasts and shit, and he's putting himself out there a lot more, even though, you know, the fucking shadow of the LA forest fire still looms and all of the nonsense and shortcomings of that fucking regime. But he is putting himself out there a lot more, and he has said many a times in somewhat a very, I guess, jokingly teasing, toying kind of like way that he'd love to sit down with Rogan and have a conversation. And for some reason, Rogan doesn't want to do it. Rogan doesn't want to interview Gavin Newsom. Now, I don't know if it's because Rogan is a somewhat ardent right-winger, or it's because Rogan is in this weird phase where he just doesn't want to sit with anybody he disagrees with. But it's a real shame because I feel like we'd get a far better interview, far better podcast if we did have Gavin Newsom and Rogan finally sitting down and hashing out their differences, or just speaking to each other about how they view California, how they view LA, and maybe Gavin Newsom having the opportunity to have his side and say his piece on some of the things that Rogan has called him out for during his time living in LA and everything else in between. I'd actually love to see it, but for some reason Rogan doesn't seem to be interested in the slightest.
Of course. California is brilliant with that. That's why they still haven't rebuilt a single house in the Pacific Palisades that burnt down. Not a single house 9 months later with some of the richest people in California.
Oh. Yeah.
Because nobody can get permits.
They're trying to make it easier to build.
Allegedly. How? If you would have done it.
Have you had Gavin Newsom on your phone?
No, he's been taunting me, trying to get me to have him on.
You should, yeah.
I don't know, because he's interesting.
Exactly.
You think he's interesting? He's interesting as like a sociology experiment. Like if you were a psychologist.
I mean, you talk to
Jesus
everyone,
Christ.
I think.
Yeah.
Do you know who I really love that you interviewed recently?
Who?
James Tallarico.
He's great. Yeah.
Rogan was like, he's interesting as a sociology experiment. He's not an interesting person. Rogan, come on, brother. Come on. For the amount of, just purely for the amount of shit you've spoken about Gavin Newsom, I think he deserves his opportunity to say his piece on your platform. I know it's his show, he can do what he wants, blah, 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 blah. But I think for the mere fact that Rogan has had so much shit to say about Gavin Newsom over the years, I think he's deserving of an opportunity to say his piece on the GRE. And you know what I think would happen? I think he would run laps around Rogan. I think that's the truth of it. Despite them having political differences, despite Rogan thinking that Gavin Newsom is inept, I think if Gavin Newsom had the opportunity to actually sit down and explain why some of the things turned out the way that they turned out in California, why it's harder to govern that state than how Rogan thinks it is, you know, it's not as easy as it looks, and actually get into the weeds of it all, talk about maybe some of the issues that he's come up against in terms of, you know, having to do deals with, or, you know, sit down with Republicans and all that sort of shit, and money and foreign investment. I'd actually think Gavin Newsom would actually convert a lot of people, even people who are very anti Gavin Newsom or who blame everything going wrong with LA to Gavin Newsom. I think he'd actually convert a lot of them, you know, and I think he'd actually expose Rogan for not really knowing his shit. He'd oddly run laps around him. I think that's why Rogan doesn't want to do it. But the sad thing is, this is also another illustration of the JRE not being as good as it used to be, or not being the show it once was. Because I think in the past, Rogan would have loved to have Newsom on just so he could have the ability to dunk on him. Rogan would have been frothing at the mouth, would have been rubbing his hand together at the thought of Gavin Newsom being on his pod so he could read him the riot act, so he could give him a good old tongue lashing, no pause. But now Rogan's in this weird way, his weird phase where he doesn't necessarily like to have opposing opinions or counter viewpoints on his pod. He cherry picks them from time to time, but for the most part, he doesn't seem to be bothered. And I think, to be fair to him, I think that's a boomer trait, innit? He just can't be bothered to argue. He has his point of view, he has his opinion, he has his POV, and that's it. That's it. He's not going to budge, he's not going to move, he's not going to change. He's not going to be, he doesn't even want to listen or understand the other points of view. He has his points of view. He thinks he's right because he's lived longer or whatever. He has more experience, whatever it may be. He's spoken to some people. He has his own anecdotal experience as well. And that's it. That's all it is. But I really do think it'd make for a really good interview if he interviewed fucking Gavin Newsom. I really fucking would love to see that. But unfortunately, it seems like we're not going to get that anytime soon. Same thing with Bernie Sanders, exactly. Someone says here, Ryan Harty on Tim Dillon. I lasted like 30 seconds. Rogan needs to learn. Really? Actually, I'm not gonna lie. Me too. I think I've left it at like half an hour. I'm not gonna lie. I think my actual habits are the ones that are good. My actual watch time is a good indication of if I like the show. I don't think I finished it yet. I left it about half, but I didn't really pay attention to the last 20 minutes. Not gonna lie. But big up Ryan Hardy, MK. Rogan needs to learn for Fear Vaughn, exactly. Lowland says big up Newsom. Newsom would rip Toe to shreds, exactly. Michael Roy. I can't believe this is the same Rogan I've been listening to since 2013, exactly. I can't believe Rogan has never had Arnold Schwarzenegger on, who was a California governor, exactly. Yeah, he definitely had him on there. True. Big up Jack Donny Jr. Wagwanji. Rogan has clear orders from his handler not to let Newsom have any shine from his show. There's all like even that Mandani guy. Mandani would be a great listen on Rogan. I think they oppose and they have very different viewpoints, politics, socially and shit. But I think that'd make for a fantastic episode of JRE. No? Namdani on the JRE. I think that'd make for a great episode, bro. I'd love to fucking see them hash it out, talk about things, discuss politics, how to approach certain things, homelessness and all this malarkey, universal basic income, taxes. I'd love to hear that. It'd make for a really good interview. They don't have to agree. They don't have to convert each other to each other's side. Just them talking would be brilliant. But Rogan is just in this weird place where he doesn't even like to have conversations. Like, it's just him, like, talking at you, Like, it's so bizarre. Big up Assad Aziz.
Paid a visit to Valhalla. Ain't see you there. Weird.
Big up Assad Aziz. Nice to be back, too. Nice to be back. Missed you, too. Big up Assad Aziz. Missed you, too, brother. Well gone. But big up Big Boo. Spotify ruined Rogan. It was better when they all smoked on the pod. It felt funnier. Yeah. I don't know if it's Spotify. I just think he got older, innit? He just got older and richer and wedded to his viewpoints. I'm sure some of you guys are the same with your parents. I'm sure some of your parents don't really budge. My parents have never really been that flexible. They've kind of believed what they believed. But I think as you get older, you get a little bit more wedded to your points of view. You're not really that flexible. So I think it's not really I don't know. I wouldn't necessarily say it's a Spotify thing, money thing. I just think he's just old. He's just much older now. Joe's an echo chamber. I agree with that. Ryan Harty. Teju, he would be exposed. That's why. Big up, run it up. Eddie gave up on Rogan. He wouldn't look into it. Yeah, true. I miss Eddie Bravo. I'm not gonna lie. I miss Eddie Bravo. I fucking miss Eddie Bravo. He's not the same Eddie Bravo either. He's been a bit neutered, isn't it? He's been a bit neutered. I think the craziness has gone out of Eddie Bravo. Maybe he's a bit scared now because of all the deep state shit, right? But I miss Eddie Bravo, man. I miss unhinged Eddie Bravo. I really miss those rants. I really miss those conspiracy theory things. I really miss those combative arguments with Rogan. That was a good era of Jerry, innit? We didn't know how good we had it, did we? We didn't know how good we had it that era, man. We didn't know how good we had it. And now it's gone forever. Now Rogan refuses to have Gavin Newsom on the show, but we'll have Trump on there. You'll have some fucking right-wing hot girl from fucking Twitter on there talking shit. They won't have Gavin Newsom on there. Come on, brother, man. Especially the amount of shit he's spoken about Gavin Newsom over the years. He deserves a shot on Jerry. Just merely for that. You've spoken enough shit about me over the years. I deserve my time, my platform to say something back and reply, honestly. But, Rogan's always gonna Rogan. Rogan's always gonna Rogan. Another clip here. This is I won't say somewhat full, but a section, a clip taken from a recent episode of JRE where Joe Rogan sits down with Bryan Callen, and for some reason Rogan decides to bring up Marin again and name him by name, right? Name him specifically or especially name him and kind of call out some of the things that he doesn't like about Mark Maron. Now, I've got a full reaction to this on my Patreon if you want to see that. It's about an hour or so long where I kind of deep dive into the whole thing, but we're going to cover it again here just to kind of give you my overall thoughts and opinions about this ongoing beef and drama. Off the bat, I don't want to hear Rogan bitch and complain about Mark Maron again. He went out of his way to mention him again. Mark Maron has kind of gone away, disappeared. He's kind of running up. I think the last show already happened, right, of his podcast. I think he did it with Obama. I'm not too sure if that's true. Don't hold me to that. But it does seem like Mark Maron's kind of disappeared after the whole press run for his special, after calling everybody out. It seems like he kind of took his foot off the pedal and left everybody alone. Rogan's the one that's poked the hornet's nest again. So if Maron comes out and goes on fucking 70 million podcasts talking bad about Joe, I don't want to hear Joe Rogan crying. No more crying. Mark Maron left you alone for a while. Now you inadvertently and willingly poke the bear. Mention him once again. If he goes on a rant or if he goes on a fucking never-ending promo tour about how much he hates Rogan and Austin comics, I don't want to hear anyone complaining. You guys did this to yourselves, okay? Let's go.
Just like people are always trying to build themselves up by taking other people down, and it's historic. It's been going on forever. It's always the case, and it's normal. Like when you're young and you're coming up and you see people that are doing better than you, like fuck that guy. It's normal, but it's not beneficial. It's not good for you.
Well, you can use
get
it to inspire you.
Yeah,
That's what I do.
I've done what they do. I've hated on people.
Big up, hey yo Hojo. What up, my burnt chicken burgers? Fucking crazy racist, crazy insulting, but I respect it still. Big up, hey yo Hojo. I'm sure there's love there. I'm sure there's real love and appreciation there, but that's mad racism.
People, I definitely did when I was young.
Yo, big up Git C.
You have a gun?
Big up Git C.
Comedian are the biggest self-absorbed crybabies.
1,000,000%. 1,000,100%.
It's just not smart. It's not a good strategy for life.
Doesn't help you.
It's your identity gets too wrapped up in conflict, and it's just like super unhealthy.
Well,
super
we know
unhealthy
people
for you.
our age who are still doing that shit.
Of course, don't
Comics.
Mark Maron, don't say it.
I mean, I don't get it. You know, I'm like, I don't know.
I get it. He's sad. He's sad. He wants other people to hurt. That's what it is.
It's just not charitable.
How about he also doesn't like you and doesn't like what you represent and has made some very, I think, astute observations about the brand of comedy that you kind of promote and push and what it's done to comedy overall. Some valid concerns. Most of it is maybe wrapped up in some hate, but some valid concerns Mark Maron floated out there that Rogan's just completely dismissing and not trying to acknowledge at all. Let me actually get them up here. Let me actually see if I should have them on my streamable. I should have all the fucking things on there. Let me just quickly check. I'm sure I have them somewhere here. I'm sure I have all of them, but I'm pretty sure I clipped it somewhere, right? Mark Maron's initial comments regarding everything here. I'm sure I have it somewhere here. Bear with me a second. I'm sure I have it. I don't know where, what page though. Bear with me. I've got many clips on here, many clips, and you can't, for some reason, you can't search your own clips on fucking Streamable, which is fucking annoying. But I'm pretty sure I have some clips here when Mark Maron speaks a little bit about these guys. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? I'm sure I have it here somewhere. I'm sure I have it here somewhere. Let's see. It was on Bad for. There we go. Here we go. Mark Maron destroys Joe Rogan, the LA comedy scene. There we go. This is what Mark Maron said about Rogan and his comedy career. This is what started off the whole beef, right? Or like put it again in the limelight. Let's play it.
Yeah, you can fly free on this show.
I feel that. I feel safe with you guys.
You should.
That's when I was driving over here. I thought this is going to be a supportive, safe room.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can say whatever you want to
Say
us.
whatever you want.
No, I got nothing. Do you guys have a plan?
No, the question,
we do.
The
We do.
yammering?
We do. We got a plan for the yam.
Yeah. The question to me is, why would you end? I'm going to say something before I even say that. I want to say that I feel like there's two people that are the pioneers in terms of comedy that inspired this generation to do it, which is a generation below you.
Yeah, I get it.
I mean,
It's you
Just one below me.
and Mario Batali.
For sure.
His
Batali
podcast
early
is
on.
so good.
I think we probably all owe it to Tom Green.
Yeah, we do actually.
I did Tom. Yeah, right. Tom was first
with the video podcast.
with the video. Yeah.
Yeah. But me and who else?
Rogan.
Okay.
Who's that?
The Tom Green mention is a clear, like, little jab, a little bullet, you know, because everyone obviously says Tom Green was a real inspiration behind Rogan. There's a famous clip of Rogan finding out about Tom Green, going on the show, his eyes lighting up at the possibilities and shit. That's a funny little quip there. Fun little quip.
Who's that?
Joe Rogan.
Joey.
Joseph Rogan?
Yeah, he's out of Texas.
Oh, he texted us. Got it.
Yeah.
I got it. Got it.
Yeah. You love Austin, don't you?
He's running half the planet out of Texas.
Yeah.
Yeah, big up Ryan Harty. You're right in that regard, but I think it kicked off because of this clip. Ryan Harty said the beef took off when Joe told Bert that Mark was talking shit, even though Mark said he was talking about Dave Chappelle. Yeah, for sure. Mark obviously was lying. Mark was definitely talking about Bert. he might have been talking about Bert and Dave Chappelle, but he wasn't just talking about Dave Chappelle. He was definitely talking about Bert. Mark then copped pleas and started lying and begging for forgiveness and making it seem like everybody was crazy for how they interpreted that fucking clip. He then apologized to Bert. Him and Bert were cool. But then I think over time, his hate for Rogan and Austin comics festered again, because I think it's hate rooted in some genuine, real criticism that I feel like those guys are unwilling to ever really give any credence to, because if they did, it would fundamentally change the way they approach their own comedy. I get why they don't really want to address it or even take it seriously and just kind of label him as a hater or as a jealous person, but that hate has always been there because fundamentally he thinks those guys ruined stand-up. I don't necessarily think it's fair to say that. I think stand-up was already ruined the moment the fucking social media fucking was invented. But, and also I think it's one of the most overrated art forms out there anyway. But I do think some of the concerns, some of the issues Marin has about Rogan and crew are warranted. But anyway, let's play the clip.
He's got a tight hold on the enlightened meathead.
Dude, Marin's disdain.
It's not disdain. It's reasonable criticism.
Reasonable criticism.
Yeah.
When was the last time you spoke with him?
That's how you know you're a real hater. I'm not hating, it's just observation. We got Big Booth. I think Mark is mad Marin came in. I think Mark is mad Rogan came in after him and made it bigger. No, everything is true. Like I said in my Patreon, check out our Patreon from full reaction. But essentially in the Patreon, I made a point to say Mark Maron is jealous. We know he's jealous. We know he's bitter. We know and I think he has every right to be jealous, right? He started at the same time as Rogan, and Rogan is infinitely more richer and famous and more beloved than he will ever be. So I get why he's jealous and bitter and whatever else it may be. But it doesn't invalidate his point. It doesn't completely nullify his point just because he is clearly jealous. He still makes a good point. He still has brought up some good reasons as to why he doesn't like the LA comedy or the Austin comedy scene, or in general that kind of bro group that surrounds Rogan. And I think those guys should address the merits of his arguments as opposed to attacking him as a person. I get they don't like him, he doesn't like them, but what he says still holds weight, and I think it should be kind of that will be a good conversation to kind of have. You know, the nepotism around it, the gatekeeping around it, you know, the clickiness of it, all that sort of shit. The fact that most of Rogan's friends who are proper huge comedians are pretty shit at stand up, you know, like that needs to be a conversation that could be had. I would love to hear, but it's never gonna happen.
I don't know. That's a good question. I guess it would have been at the store. I never talked to him in Austin. I don't go into the club. I don't really think I'm on his radar. So
something tells me you are.
Oh yeah,
something tells me you are.
I don't. You know, it's weird that you get lumped into a certain thing, and maybe it's my assumption that you know, his army of you know, healthy fellas.
Is that their title? Army of healthy fellas is so good.
You know, you just got to, you know, got to stay in.
Big up Saddest. Big up Saddest.
This is all Obama's fault. It always is. Always.
Always. Blame it on Barack Hussein Obama.
Keep the machine.
The machine's got to be good.
Yeah.
That's a shot at Bert. Go ahead.
What do you think the Austin shelf life is going to be?
Well, I don't know. Like, I think that it's so effectively tribalized at this point. It really comes down to material. I mean, at what point? It's like whatever they represented in terms of policy. And it's not a stretch. It's like they won. Trans people are frightened. They have no ability to get health care anymore, and they're afraid of being alive and have no freedom left. So that's done. When do you stop with the jokes?
When do you stop with the jokes?
And like immigrants, okay, well, they're being ripped away from their homes, and they're all terrified, and okay, so that's done. When do you stop with the jokes?
Right.
I mean, it's one thing to pick on the vulnerable and the marginalized, but I mean, they're down.
Yeah.
I mean, like,
they're down.
Why do you got to keep hitting them unless you're a hack? Now, there's a question.
Mark.
He comes in swinging.
Yeah.
No, so I don't know the last time I talked to Joe. People for a while were like, you know, why don't you go on Joe's show? And my answer to that is like, why?
Why? Right. Well, it doesn't service you.
Well, no, I don't need him, and also there's no way for me to, like, what am I going to talk to him about? And there's no way for me to sort of not walk out of there and be like, all right, I guess I'll look at my phone. Oh, fuck. How long is this going to go on for? You know, like,
right.
But it's like Martin Luther King and Malcolm X made me meeting at one point. Don't you think? Let's go historical with it.
Say it again.
Malcolm X and Martin Luther King meeting. They met at one point.
Yeah.
Well, that's right. And
pioneers of the civil rights movement.
Which one is Malcolm X and which one's Martin Luther King?
Martin Luther King.
I don't really think
that's not Martin Luther.
The analogy doesn't work.
No.
He's
so bad at analogies. Let him keep going with this. It's going to get funnier as it goes on.
Yeah. Okay. Let me go with more analogies.
He's like, this is if Hitler's and Goebbels had to hang out off the work site.
Why, one of those is right.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah,
Christ.
I think you got half.
Yo, big up Callen in the stream chat. Big up Callen in the stream chat. Anyway, you get the gist. You get the gist, right? Let's go back to the clip and let's hear what they have to say. You get the gist of what Mark Maron was trying to say.
It's also he's pathologically jealous. Like he's like literally mentally ill. Like, do you understand?
Jesus
Mark,
Christ.
when he first started, when he was just first coming up.
Honestly, if Mark Maron goes on a non-stop 2-year, 5-year, 10-year diatribe about Rogan and how much he hates the Austin comedy scene, I don't want to hear Rogan complain once. You're calling the guy mentally ill. You're naming him by name specifically. Like, I don't want to hear you complain if Mark Maron does not shut up forever talking about how much he hates Rogan. You can't complain anymore. He left you guys alone. He stopped hating for a bit. He kind of disappeared, you know. He promoted his special. He did what he needed to do. But this is unnecessary. Mentally ill, you know. Fuck it. Because he doesn't like your comedy. Because he called you a hack. He's mentally ill. Okay.
Was friends with Mitch Hedberg, and then Mitch Hedberg hit, and he couldn't be friends with him anymore.
Really?
Yep. Stop being his friend. Same thing with Louis C.K. Louis C.K. and him were tight. Louis blew up. Mark didn't. He had to fucking hate him, and he turned on him. Talked shit about him openly. And then he became successful. And the years where Mark was successful were the best years of Mark. Because Mark was fun. Mm-hmm. Like, I've had ups and downs with Mark. I've gone through this with him like 3 or 4 different times where he gets upset at me, and then we talk, and then, are we good? We're good. Like, he likes to do that. He likes to talk shit about you, and then you confront him, and he says, you're right.
But aren't you comedians? Aren't comedians meant to be like well-seasoned, sharpened?
Powerful bunch.
No, big up Ryan Harty. Appreciate it. Thank you for becoming a member. 6 months, you're a fucking legend. Big up Bryan Harty. Thank you for being a member for 6 bloody months. You're a fucking psycho and a legend. Love ya.
And with me, my relationship with him was really complicated because when I was an open micer, I was 21 years old and I was just starting out. Mark gave me a compliment once that really helped me. He came up to me and he goes, "Hey man, you're really funny." He says, "Keep doing what you're doing. Don't listen to anybody else."
That's how you know Mark Maron's a real hater. He liked Joe when Joe first came in. As soon as Joe started making money, fuck that guy. I got to respect the hate.
Keep doing what you're doing. I was like, wow, thank you.
That's his best side. That's the good side.
He's not all bad.
No.
And he was a young guy back then, right? So he was just being cool. And then over time, obviously I became more famous than him and more successful than him. And he does not like that.
Obviously, Rogan, obviously. Obviously, I became more famous and successful than him. Jesus Christ. No wonder he hates you.
He fucking hates that. And the only time we were cool was...
Yo, big up Ryan Harty.
Wonder what Joe did to create Kyle Kulinski beef.
To be fair, I don't think he did anything. I think Kyle Kulinski just is politically opposite of Rogan, really, you know? And over the years, Rogan has become way more right-wing. I don't think Kyle Kulinski changed. I'm not going to lie. I think Kyle Kulinski is exactly the same. Not going to lie. Maybe people disagree, but I think Kyle Kulinski's political point of views are exactly the same. I think Rogan just went more right-leaning. Kyle Kulinski went on the show when Rogan was a quote-unquote liberal. Then 2 years later, he's endorsing Trump. It's like, what? So yeah, I don't blame Kyle Kulinski for having these having this fucking crazy outburst and going on mad rants about Rogan, because he met him when he was a liberal. He met Rogan when he was like Mr. UBI guy. Now all of a sudden, Rogan's somewhat anti-UBI and fucking Trump's best friend.
Mark was number one. So Mark, the podcast took off, and you got to realize it took off when he was deep into his 40s, right? And it was the #1 podcast in the country. And he was on Rolling Stone magazine, and he had his own show on IFC, the Maron Show, and he was fucking great.
Hold on, was he age shaming him there? Was that an age shame there? The podcast successful deep in his 40s. Look at Rogan on his somber thing. You hear that musician somber, 20, like he was chastising some woman that went viral because she was criticizing his live show because it was overtly sexual. You're 25. Like, he was making it seem like 25 was like 55. Was Rogan age shaming fucking Mark Maron there? He made it in deep in his 40s. I was in my deep 30s. He was in his deep 40s. Like, relax, bro. You both look about the same age, to be honest. They probably are the same age as well.
Great. He was cool to hang with. He was fun because he didn't have to compare himself to anybody anymore because he was a success. Like, he could look at his own success. He was doing a television show. He had his podcast. Everything was great. And we were cool. Like, we were friends. Like, I'd see him. I'd give him a hug. I'd say, what's going on? We would talk. We're friendly at the store. We never hung out off site. But we were friendly. Like, we had pushed all the beef aside, and he even did my podcast. We had a great time. And then I started getting more successful. And then my podcast passed his. Then my podcast became #1. And then the Spotify deal. And that's when he started talking shit about me. So he started talking shit about me long before all this Trump stuff. This Trump stuff is just the most recent iteration of this bizarre thing that he does with people. And the first thing was he had decided that I was an asshole, like, just because the podcast took off. But it was...
Why doesn't he ever address the merits of what Mark Maron said? I get that maybe they know each other on a personal level that we will probably never really understand, and he probably understands him more than he understands himself, and probably vice versa. But why doesn't he ever address the merits or the particularities of what Maron said in terms of why he dislikes those guys? Address those points, because he does make it very clear why he disliked these guys, and he doesn't want to address them at all, these points.
Have that analogy.
Okay, yeah.
Dude. See,
Why can't you just once support me? You know what I mean? With an analogy.
Shut up.
But that was just wrong. It brought race into it in a very profound way.
Yeah.
And I would...
Mine was angled and funny and distant. It went somewhere else.
Yeah, I think on one side of that, there's a guy that's aggressively fighting for the civil rights of victimized white people. God knows they've had it hard enough for a long enough time. But
has Joe asked you?
No.
Oh.
Here's a better angle.
Adam used to go like, "Hey, what?" And I'm like, "No,
Yeah.
why?"
Well, because it's interesting being someone like us on the outside of it.
No,
and
why?
watching,
No, you got one foot in, baby.
Well, yeah, it's right up your ass.
Yeah, that's the other foot.
I think what it is for me is I would love to see you guys chat, but I'd love to see you guys chat in neither of your arenas. It would be the only way it'd be legit. Because if you have to go to his show, not going to work.
Very good.
He has to go to your house, not going to work. You guys would have to do this thing.
It's like setting up a mob meeting
here.
No, seriously.
They should do it here.
Moderated.
You
mob.
should.
I'm not gonna lie though, I know some of you guys don't like Andrew Schultz, but he is right. If you're Rogan, I'll be looking at Andrew Santino a little bit sideways. Bobby Lee's a little bit of he's a little bit, he's got the fucking backbone of a jellyfish, right? But I'll be looking at Andrew Santino a little bit sideways. You know, me and this guy have beef. You bring him on your show, you kind of egg him on to chat shit about me. You laugh at all these insults regarding me and shit. You don't tell him to chill. You don't maybe defend me. I don't know. If I'm Rogan, I'm looking at Santino a little bit sideways. I said it at the time. I said it on the time when it happened. I did say it when it happened. You guys remember on the stream? I did say this is a bit weird of Santino to just be like kind of like egging this shit on. He knows those two don't like each other. He knows there's real beef there. Or no, let's not say real beef, but there's not real dislike between them. Why are you shit stirring? Why are you adding salt to the fucking rice? What are you doing here? You know, I'll be looking at him a little bit sideways. I'm not gonna look at him a little bit funny style. But to be fair to Andrew Santino, the reason why he probably did this is because maybe he feels the same as Mark Maron. Maybe Santino is not all of the way in on Rogan the way he used to be. Which I think is a credit to Santino too, because he's a friend of Rogan's, he's in the inner circle, he performs at the mothership, he's a part of Rogan's crew. He's been on tour with him, blah, 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 blah. But it does say a lot about Santino's character, that he is still a little bit, he does have his own mind. He doesn't go with the herd, you know? And I do kind of rate him a lot for how he kind of stuck up for Bobby Lee and completely, you know, disassociated himself with Brendan and Bryan and kind of, you know, stood up for him when that whole beef went on. So he kind of earned a lot of respect in my book for that regard. But I don't know, if I'm Rogan, I'm looking at Santino a little bit funny.
Do it here at Bad Friends.
They should do it here.
It would piss both of them off so fucking much.
Yeah.
Look at the art behind them.
I know.
It would just be of us.
This would be good neutral ground.
But you do have to understand something. I have known Joe since he started.
Yeah.
I mean, literally since he first set foot on stage.
In Boston.
I was there.
Boston.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I remember my initial issues where there was another guy, Kevin Flynn, who was out of the game. And he was like a soccer jock. And at that time, Joe was like a regional kickboxing champion. And my initial reaction was like, what are these guys doing here? This isn't for them. It's like Louis once said to me years ago when Jay Moore started in New York when he was like 17. He's like, it's not for them. It's not for the good-looking guys.
And this is something that I'd want Rogan to address. I don't think, like I said in my Patreon, check out my Patreon for my full review. I know I keep plugging and shilling it. I don't want to keep going over the same fucking things I spoke about. But regardless, you check out if you want to check out. Patreon link is in the description, patreon.com/Agostino. But what I said is this, right? I don't think it's fair to blame Rogan for the chadification, the broification of stand-up comedy. I think it's entirely reasonable for Rogan to have come into stand-up when he came into stand-up, seen all these freaks and weirdos, seen all these quote-unquote true kind of creatives, right? Or to lack of a better term, silly gooses, and maybe felt a little bit, out of it, not included, and then decided to make his own little circle of people who are more similar to him, and to kind of push that forward. It just so happened to be, along the way, he ended up being one of the most famous people in the world. But I don't think it's a wrong or a bad thing for him to try and carve out a little area for the bros who maybe didn't feel as comfortable in stand-up when they first got into it because it was inundated with freaks and weirdos or true kind of comics. I think there should be a space for everyone. And nowadays we do, especially with social media and the internet, there's space for everybody. Regardless of what your leanings are, you can find your people. You can find your tribe. Now, the problem is that Rogan has also become the de facto gatekeeper because he's so big and huge and well known. And because he, his kind of crew of comics are the biggest out there. The ones who are selling the most tickets, being on the biggest tours, could have all the Netflix specials. So I think that it's like a weird outsized influence that he's kind of cultivated and happened by accident. But it's obvious it's there, Bobby Lee has spoken about how uncomfortable he used to feel going to the Comedy Store with Rogan's crew and how he much prefers it now because that crew isn't there, sort of like taking up space, making it a bit cliquey and shit. So that there is a clear issue with that. So I would like Rogan to discuss that, but he's not because the hate for Mark Maron is real. But that's a real point of contention that would be an actual good talking point, a good place to kind of go from to explore some of the ideas why some people maybe aren't the most warm when it comes to Rogan and his crew of comedians. But for Rogan, anyone that hates, anyone that doesn't like what he does or his friends does is just jealous, I guess. There is no warranting their arguments.
It's not for the jocks. This is for us rejects, us guys who don't fit in. That's what comedy was. Right.
Big up MK. I appreciate you. Thank you. Plug away. Patreon.com/Agostino. Patreon.com/Agostino. Big up MK. Give me permission to plug. There we go. Check it out. New Patreon up now. 2 Patreon clips there available. Only $1. Only $1. Check it out.
By the way, was Jay Moore that good looking? Am I crazy?
He was cute back then.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, but let's be honest. Let's go back to the truth tree then. Mark Maron is a good looking guy.
Not always. I was
Mark
a little
Maron,
sweaty.
You're a good dude. Why are you getting TV shows every fucking second, man?
And we'll get to
Not
that.
for my looks.
We'll get to that in a second.
It is. There's competition. There's your face. I've seen you on.
Come on, Mark Maron. Let's be real. If you're not getting TV shows because of your looks, You're definitely not getting them because of your looks. You're definitely getting them because you're funny. Let's be real, because looks wise, let's be real. Let's be real.
Green.
No, he's a handsome guy. It's annoying.
You have great angles on your face.
When you were young.
Now.
Yes, you're right. You matured. When you were young, you were hideous. You were a hideous man to look at.
I was sweaty and bloated and long hair. But getting back to Joe, look, I imagine the thing with Joe.
Yeah.
Getting back to hate, that's the thing, bro. Mark Maron's a real hater, though, isn't it? Real hater. But the thing that I don't like about this whole conversation, they're trying to act like they don't speak like this in their green rooms. Mark Maron is just a really bitter, miserable, jealous guy and a real hater. That's true. But I don't think that takes away from his points. He's still making good points. But I also think these comedians, Rogan being, another example, they're full of shit if they're acting like they don't speak like this in their green rooms. We know they do. We know these guys are the most bitchy, gossipy people out there. They talk bad about each other all the time. So I don't like this kind of like, getting on their fucking high horse, acting as if Mark Maron's like being weird and a chatty patty and lame. And you guys do exactly the same things. Let's be real.
I don't know that we have a lot to talk about because of my idea of what he's done to comedy.
Sure.
And I don't think it's great. I think that it's...
I don't think that's fair. I don't think you can say Rogan is the sole reason why stand-up comedy is shit. I think that's a little bit too much hate. That's a little bit too much on Rogan. That's a little bit too much. I get why you don't like it in its current iteration, but to say Rogan's the reason why stand-up comedy is where it's at is crazy. But Mark Maron hates him, so I let him say what he wants to say.
Tribalized, and I think that he's created a sort of army of people that think they know comedy, but they only know a specific thing, and what they think is good is not necessarily good. It may be what they're like, what they like, but on the outside of that, most of this.
But again, Mark Maron, who used to say what's good and what isn't good? Come on now, you don't like Rogan being the gatekeeper or being the de facto shot caller of comedy, but then here you are saying I really know what's good and Rogan thinks he knows what's good and bad. No, I really know what's good and bad. Again, clear, bona fide, real to the core hater, but I still think he's making some good points that Rogan hasn't addressed.
Sort of sensitive weirdos that we all grew up with in comedy have been sort of pushed aside, and the space for them has become limited. And it's a little...
But there was a time, though, that alt comedy was the...
Not alt comedy. I'm not even talking about the alt people. Okay. I'm talking about just like interesting stand-ups.
Right.
Weirdos.
Yeah. Like Brent Weinbach has a great special.
Sure.
I think he's so weird.
Joe Mandy.
Yeah, Joe Mandy. Yeah,
and now it's like kind of this, there's this cultural idea of what comedy is.
Is there a world, and I understand I get your perspective.
Yeah.
Is there a world where both these things exist and it doesn't fucking matter?
Exactly.
So this is what I always say. Like, I get that you don't like that world. That's part of why I love you, because you're like, fuck that, and you'll shit on it. And that's what's great about
there's
comedy.
There's some good comics in there, and there's a lot of middle section. There's a lot. I believe that we all exist in the same world.
And it doesn't matter is my point. I get why you...
It's not all on him.
No.
The culture is...
You just said it was all on him.
Changed.
Right.
And I don't necessarily think for the better, but it's changed in a lot of ways in that... Look, there are comics that only drive clips and that, only do crowd work, and they don't care if they do other people's jokes because the traction is with the clip. And what they don't realize, I think, and what a lot of people don't realize is that you're the internet's bitch.
I like him because he's just this guy. There's too much get along gang shit. There's too much kumbaya shit. He's a real hater, don't get me wrong, but I really, really, really like that he is around and that he says it the way he says it. Is it full of vitriol? Is it full of hate? Is it just jealousy? Is it just bitterness that he's not Rogan? Yes. But is he making some points too? Yes. It's just unfortunate that they can't see past that because, they've clearly got some issues, which is warranted. But let's go back to the clip with Rogan and Callen.
It was not a big deal. It was like I'd heard people say that he was saying things. But then after the Spotify deal was a real problem. And that's when he started.
Yeah, big up Ryan Harty. Yeah, float it. I got an idea for something for you to watch on Patreon. Yeah, let me know.
coming after me, and it was about vaccines. Like, so he was talking about me on stage about vaccines. It's like, by the way, everything I said was correct. The people that I had on my podcast were like Robert Malone, who got criticized.
I do everything right. I do nothing wrong. Meet me, Rogan. Jesus Christ, mate. Get your own dick out your mouth, Rogan. Chill out.
He has 9 patents in the creation of mRNA technology.
He's a vaccinologist. He's an immunologist.
He took the vaccine himself and had a horrible adverse event, which is when he started becoming critical of it.
Right.
And then he started doing the science and looking into the papers and the research, and he was trying to sound the alarm. He was right. He was right. All these people, Dr. Pierre Corey, he was right. Peter McCullough is the most published doctor in human history in his particular field of expertise,
which is immunology.
It's kidney disease. I don't exactly.
But he's a scientist,
very well published and accredited scientist. So these are the people that I had on that were talking about this stuff.
Big up Big Booth. I just don't like fake buddy and words like Maron. He really don't like you, but he's cool to your face, a bit spineless. I don't think that's true. I don't think he's that kind of guy. I think when Rogan says, "Oh, when you see him in person, he's like, are we cool? Are we cool?" I think that's because Rogan goes up to him to talk, tries to confront him and talk about it. I don't think he's cool like that. Remember the story with fucking what's the guy? Rogan, Brendan's friend, that guy that was crying about Maron not saying hi to him or some shit. He said he went up to him, had to pull him to the side and have a conversation. Before that, Maron wasn't speaking to him. I don't think Maron's fake friends like that. I don't think Maron's on some fake thing like that. I think if Maron doesn't like you, he's gonna just not talk to you. I think Maron's a bit standoffish. I think he comes across a bit rude in that way. Yeah, Jeff Dye, that's it. Jeff Dye. Remember Jeff Dye said he had to go to him and pull him to the side and have a conversation. But I don't think Mark Maron's the type to be like, oh, like suddenly all smiles and teeth when he sees you after he trashed you online. I don't think so. I think Rogan's the one that went up to him and confront. To be fair, Rogan did kind of check him, right? Rogan did check him and Maron did tuck his tail. But I don't think Maron's the type to talk shit about you online and then be fake nice. No, I think he'll keep the same energy, personally.
It had nothing to do with that Maron was upset at. It had to do with jealousy.
I think, though, it's another thing. I think some people have a very traumatic experience when they're younger. It could be high school. And you represent an avatar of that experience. So
I don't like this as well. This argument is lame because Bryan says the same thing about Brendan. Bryan Callen really does think people don't like Brendan because they look at Brendan and he reminds them of a school bully. Like they're in some like coming of age high school American movie. You know those kind of movies where like the kid gets his head flushed down the toilet and then the bully is on the opposing team and the kid's playing football and he catches the fucking ball. It's like, what? This is not some fucking American movie. This is not something, you know what I mean? Like that's not true. People can just not like you because they just don't like you, not because you represent an avatar of their child. Like, shut up. Like, shut up. I don't know what that is about that. But Bryan says that about Brendan a lot. Now he's ascribing it to Rogan. Oh, you remind them of a bully. You remind them of the alpha of the high school, of the star quarterback at the high school team. The star. It's like, what are you talking about? I just think he's a hack comedian. I just don't think he's funny. What the fuck are you talking about?
We just spent, the first fucking third of this podcast was about fighting, working out, and all that stuff. There's a physicality there. You are...
But he's also a type of man that obsesses over that sort of stuff, right? Physicality, their idea of masculinity is physicality. You know, if you're a man and you're physical, then you're a man in their point of view. You have to be physical. There is no other ways to express masculinity. It's always like what? It's like steak, fasting, cold plunges, kettlebells and dumbbells. Like, you know what I mean? And bench presses. It's like, all right.
A physical guy. You're physically imposing. You can choke somebody unconscious, punch them.
Be up Coiler stream chat. Wagwan, bruh. High school was half a century ago. His crowd isn't 60 plus people hating online. Exactly.
Powerful bunch.
Big up Saddest.
I thought having people on their platform who disagreed with him was these Rogan sphere dorks' big claim. Chat, would a comedy podcaster lie to me? Should I cancel my BetterHelp subscription?
Exactly. What happened to that? What happened to the fucking marketplace of ideas? Is it marketplace or is it the public square? What was it again? Remember that whole thing? Marketplace, public square, whatever it fucking was of ideas. What happened to the best idea wins? Iron sharpens iron. Like, what happened to all that sort of shit? Of course.
In the face, blah blah blah. That meathead persona, that kind of like forward tilt, that yang energy, that very hyper male energy. Some people have a very
big up Lowland. Look at his eyes even. Look how he's sucking Rogan's dick so much his eyes are open just in case Rogan wants to put his dick in his eye socket. That's how much he wants to suck Rogan's dick. He's closing his mouth and he's making his eyes open just in case Rogan wants to dip his tip of his dick into his eyeballs. Big up Lowland. Square is closed is hilarious.
Bad experience with that kind of energy when they're young. They might be.
I understand,
right?
but you have to judge people.
Of course you do.
can't straw man people and pretend that they're mean.
Of course you do.
That's what you do all the time, bro. You're the master straw man. You're the master steel man. You're the master gaslighter. That's what you do. Rogan fucking Joe fucking straw man Rogan. That's all he does every episode. He doesn't have anybody on to actually argue their point of view. He just straw mans them. What the fuck's he talking about? That's you, brother.
He likes to pretend that I'm like a mean jock.
But that's what I'm saying, is that you gotta, like, as an adult, after a while, you have to come to terms with whatever emotional reaction you have to whatever this avatar is that you've put all this.
He has to pretend I'm the all-encompassing leader, de facto oligarch leader, shot caller of the comedy scene. He likes to make it seem like I have the best comedy club in the world, and I keep saying it's the best comedy club in the world, and act as if any other comedy club in the world is not really relevant unless it's my comedy club, and if you're not coming about my comedy club, you don't fucking matter. He likes to act like that, but it's not true. All right.
Stuff on, which we all do. I think you've got to take after a while, you got to go, hey, this is where I got to let go of all that stuff, and I got to take the person at face value.
Yeah, but this is...
It's easy to say that when you're in Rogan's inner circle, though, Ryan Callen. It's easy to say that when you're 60 plus years old with numerous sexual assault allegations, and you're still in Rogan's inner circle and you're doing pretty well for yourself, all things included. It's easy to say that. If you're outside of that circle, you wouldn't be having this to say, though, you know? I get why he's saying what he's saying. I get it. Rogan's your friend, but it's easy to say this when you're in the inner circle, when you're in the cool group, when you're sitting with the cool peeps on the cool table, per se, right? To borrow his fucking high school fucking... to borrow his high school little anecdote there, you know? Fucking hell, high school. Like, I don't think, do you guys think about high school and college as much as these guys do? And these guys, I think they're like 20 years, 30 years older than all of us. And they think about college so much. They think about high school so much. Like, what? Oh yeah, my college record. It's like, what?
You're talking about introspection. He doesn't have that. That's not him. He does when confronted, and he'll apologize. Like, that's his whole thing.
Pot kettle black.
Are we good? We good? And then you hug it out with people. He also lies. Like, one of the things he lied about, he did a podcast with Howie Mandel, and Howie Mandel asked him.
Wow, man. By the way, we have Elephant Graveyard to thank because of this. We have Elephant Graveyard to thank because of this. Rogan, for a long time, I think, wasn't really reading comments. And I said this in the Patreon. I don't actually think Rogan was reading comments, because the way he's crashing out and the way he's responding to fucking Mario.
Powerful bunch.
Big up Saddest.
Rogan was never a mean jock. He was a 4 feet small child who got bullied by mean jocks.
Exactly.
Only after years of taekwondo and steroids could he become a mean jock at around 40.
Exactly.
Now move to Austin before I armbar you.
Exactly. Yeah. Before Uma Palata. Before I Uma Palata you, right? What's that other choke they used to also like? Triangle. There was another choke that they're like anaconda. I don't know. Do you remember that? There was a. I remember he's talking about fucking jiu-jitsu. I miss those days, man. Please go back to talking about jiu-jitsu. Talk about fucking half guard and off the back and half mount and fucking downward doggy. I don't know. Go back to talking about jiu-jitsu, man. That was way funner. Do you remember when Rogan would obsess about jiu-jitsu, talking about different subs and shit? Is it Dars? Yeah. All that shit. Go back to talking about jiu-jitsu, bro. I would much prefer that than this Rogan. I swear to God.
if you had problems with comedians. Like, no, I don't have any problems with any comedians. I've never had any problems with comedians. Like, what are you talking about? Is that a problem with every single...
that's what I'm going to say. Elephant Graveyard has something to... We have to thank Elephant Graveyard, but I think Elephant Graveyard opened the floodgates. I think Rogan is now listening and reading what people have to say. You know? And he's responding now. We have Elephant Graveyard to thank. Elephant Graveyard has opened the floodgates. Elephant Graveyard has opened the floodgates. I swear to God. Big up Elephant Graveyard.
Single comedian that's more successful than him. Bill Burr, Louis C.K., Dave Chappelle, me, Tony Hinchcliffe, everybody that passes him, all of a sudden he talks about them on stage. And the Theo thing really drove me nuts because that sent Theo into a real spiral.
Did it?
Come on, bro. Come on. This is where it went a bit extra. Blaming fucking Mark Maron for Theo's crash out or for Theo forgetting his lines when really it was more to do with Theo not taking the Netflix comedy special taping seriously, maybe being a little bit nervous, whatever it may be. But to blame it on Mark Maron making a joke that he would have Hitler on his podcast, the most middle of the road, normie, average, not that offensive, not even that funny joke about Theo. Come on, man. Come on. If anything, you're doing Theo a disservice. You're actually doing Theo a disservice to say that he got rattled that much after that really run-of-the-mill joke about him maybe interviewing Hitler. Come on, man. Come on, Rogan. You don't believe that. You don't believe that. Come on, man. Come on. And if Theo did get rattled that much about fucking Mark Maron's joke, then Theo's a fucking bozo, you know? Really and truly. Because that wasn't even that deep. It was a little fun, little cute observation or joke thing. Keep it moving. I'm not really the biggest fan of that sort of stuff. In the same way, I'm not a fan of Rogan's friends talking about Rogan in a special, name dropping, right? Bert's done it. Tom's done it. Ari Shafir's done it. Like, I hate that kind of name dropping. Oh yeah, my friend Shane Gillis, and then it gets an applause break. I hate that shit. I hate even when comedians make jokes about other people in their sets. You know, and this is a roast. Don't say anyone's name. Go up there on stage, say your fucking jokes, get off stage. But don't use people's names as like a, it's a bit hack, you know, it's a bit hack. So I'm not really the biggest fan of Mark Maron's joke about Theo, but to act as if that crushed Theo and sent him into a fucking, you know, he nearly relapsed. It's like, come on, bro. Come on. Let's be for real.
Yeah. Yeah, well, Theo went into a spiral, and that was a big part of him getting attacked was Maron talking about him on a special, saying that he'd have Hitler on his podcast. Well, why is he saying that?
Because it's funny. Because it's fucking funny. Theo would have Hitler on his podcast and then complain about fucking Nazis later on. And then fucking be confused about the rise of fucking anti-Semitism online. You know? That's what people are taking a piss out of. Like, come on, bro.
Does he think that's true? Does he think that?
But Rogan purposely misunderstanding a joke, you know, that's just classic Rogan, by the way, right? Purposely letting the joke going over his head, doing the annoying thing of trying to like really analyze it, right? And really break it down. It's a fucking throwaway joke. It's not meant to be taken seriously, bro. It's not meant to be taken literally, bro. It's all right. What does he mean? Does he mean like shut up?
Theo has anybody on his fucking show, including Bernie Sanders.
He's learning. He wants to learn.
He'll talk to people, and you know he will talk to anybody on his podcast. That's not what the thing is. The thing is that Maron's podcast, which was #1, isn't even in the top 100 anymore.
He's such a woman, isn't it? I'm sorry for the women out there watching, but he's such a fucking woman, and I mean this in all respect noted. He's such a fucking bitch. He's not even in the top 100. Jesus Christ! Honestly, this Rogan has always been there. By the way, this Rogan's always been there. He's always been there. This Rogan, he's always been there.
I don't even think it's in the top 200. It went away. And it went away not because...
Where's The Fire and the Kid then? Mark Maron's not in the top 200. Where's The Fire and the Kid? You're talking to somebody that he was on a podcast that probably was in the top 200 at one point. I wonder where The Fire and the Kid is at.
He did anything. He didn't get arrested. There was no scandal. People just stopped being interested in it. And I think that hurts the most. And
why did they stop being interested?
It's not good. Here's a part of it. Like
Bryan faking wanting to be curious. Bro, why did stop interested in your fucking podcast? Let's reverse them to Bryan talking about other people. That's why I hate it. People do that sort of thing. Ooh, no, let's talk about you. About why stop it. Let's talk about you, bro.
the conversations that he has are fine, but the beginning of the podcast is these like self-indulgent rants about life and him doing things, and there's a thread dedicated on.
Yo, he hates him. He hates him for real. No, he's literally giving him fucking notes on his podcast. Give Bryan notes on finding a kid then. Give them notes too. This is fucking hilarious.
Like Reddit, where people fast
Powerful
forward.
bunch.
Listen to Reddit now. Big up Saddest.
What do jokes mean? Why do we say them? But what did Joe really mean when he said weed should be legal? He's said it almost every special. What is the real reason? I'm asking the deep questions.
Honestly, bring back that Rogan. Bring back fucking weed should be legal, man. Legalize weed, man. It's a plant, man. Medicinal benefits of weed, man. Fitness rage. You remember, like, bring back that Rogan. Please bring back that Rogan, man. Fucking hell. I'll take fucking 50-year-old pothead over this one. Honestly. Please, for the love of God. Big up Big Booth. Bro's built like a farm and he expects us to take him serious. It's fucking hilarious. Big up Andy Ward. At 5'2", most things go over Rogan's head. Boom. Big up Andy Ward.
To the time, like they give you the time stamp of when he's done ranting, so you can just get to the interview.
Bro, they do the same thing on your podcast too, bro. That fucking timestamps person. People, let me know in the stream chat if you've noticed on the Reddit. The timestamp person's back. The timestamps person on the Reddit is back, breaking down all episodes and giving you the timestamps of the topics that you give a shit about. People do it to your podcast too. People skip past your fucking ivermectin COVID rants and fucking AI slop convincing rants and Trump this ball washing. People do the same thing with you, bro.
Because nobody wants to hear it. Like it's an inside, joke. But it just, that's the reality is it's like Theo passed him, like rocketed past him, and now he has like the number 2 or number 3 podcast in the world.
Sometimes there's a thing that people do when you're older, where you say that person passed me, and then you criticize the culture that got them past it. Right?
Well, the thing is that Maron never developed an audience for his comedy, and he always felt like he deserved it, and that's what drove him the most nuts.
I said it before in the Patreon too. I think they all do this. I think they fundamentally all think they deserve an audience because of the time they put in. I don't think they're fun. I don't think funny is the main thing. What you hear about Rogan when it comes to stand-up is about time spent, hours spent doing it. They believe in that 10,000 hours methodology. If you spend enough time doing stand-up, 10 plus years, you become good. This is a magical number. To do it for 10 years, you're great. It's like, what about if you're shit though? What about if you start off being shit? You're not going to just magically become good. You're just going to magically turn yourself into a comedian. Brendan proved it. You can't just go from being like a normal dude who wasn't the funny guy to suddenly being a funny guy in your mid-30s and then spend 10 years doing it, and then you're going to be a stand-up comedian. It's not going to work that way. So I think they all think that way. I think they all have this idea that if they spend long enough doing it, they're going to inherently get an audience. So I don't think it's inherently a Mark Maron thing. I think for some reason all comedians have this belief. If I do it long enough, I will get X, Y, and Z. They all have this weird entitlement, it feels like, a little bit, which maybe explains a lot of their egos, a lot of the chatty patty nature of it, how catty and whatever it's backstabby it is. I don't feel like a lot of them are just in it for the sake of just being in it, you know, just for the jokes. Like, I'd maybe Doug Stanhope, I think, like just in it for the pure shits and giggles of it. In it for the, like, Doug Stanhope seems like a type of person who, like, he loves the lifestyle of being a comedian, being able to just drink, hang out, go and do fun little shows, perform for his audience, you know, make his points on stage about things going on in society at large, you know, like the real comedian's lifestyle and life. Most of them just are in it for the, I don't know, I guess for the fame, notoriety, whatever it is. But yeah, I don't know what I'm talking about.
He always felt like he deserved it. But it's like you deserve what you get. You know what he has a record for? One of those ticket things, whether it's Ticketmaster or whatever one, #1 for selling single seats.
How do you know that? How do you know that, though? That's some real hater shit. Like, how do you know that? Holy shit. Can we get some stats for Brendan's career before he retired then? Can we get some stats for the guy across the table from you, Bryan Callen? Let's get some stats, some numbers up for Bryan Callen's ticket sales over the years. I don't even think he's even listed on fucking Ticketmaster, but let's get some stats. Jesus Christ. He's actually #1 for the most single tickets sold. I sell double tickets. I sell quadruple tickets, actually. My tickets come in groups of 5. All the fellas come to my shows. All right, Rogan, relax. But yeah, that was Rogan and Callen going over the Mark Maron beef again, which I think had rested already, right? What's that saying they say? Let sleeping dogs lie. I think if Maron comes out and starts going at these guys relentlessly for the next fucking 17 years, I don't want to hear Rogan crying and complaining. Shut the fuck up if he does do that, okay? He won't, but I'm saying it now. Anyway, moving on. Let's do Andrew Schultz. Andrew Schultz decided to go on the JRE, and Andrew Schultz did something very interesting. Andrew Schultz did the same thing that Brendan Schaub did when Chris D'Elia got cancelled. What did Brendan Schaub do when Chris D'Elia got cancelled? When Chris D'Elia got cancelled for being an alleged diddler, Brendan Schaub was very smart. After he wiped away his tears and his snot from crying on his podcast about the end of all the good times and not necessarily for his friend losing his career, Brendan did something very smart. He immediately shoehorned himself next to Chris D'Elia, and made him, by force, his best friend. Because before the controversy, Brendan and fucking Chris D'Elia and Bryan Callen were very close, of course, because of the 10-minute podcast and their history and stand-up and shit, blah, 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 blah. Similar type of sense of humor. You know, they were, Chris D'Elia used to come on The Fighter and the Kid all the time with just Bryan Callen, not even with Brendan there sometimes. The famous show with fucking Chris D'Elia, Will Sasser and Brendan and Bryan Callen is probably one of the top viewed clips, I think, on their channel, even till this day. So it was always funny to me when Chris D'Elia got cancelled that Brendan forced his way into being Chris D'Elia's friend. And obviously, golden hour together, blah, blah, blah. So much so he took over Bryan Callen's spot. Now, to be fair to Brendan, Bryan Callen also kind of torched that relationship when he threw Chris D'Elia under the bus, when he got cancelled by saying that he didn't really know him, they never went on tour, they hardly seen each other outside of fucking the Comedy Store, they've been to dinner once before, all that shit, right? But I think Andrew Schultz did the same thing that Brendan Schaub did with fucking Chris D'Elia here, because he tried very hard in this particular clip to diminish and to chastise Andrew Santino and to remind Rogan that he's a real friend, like he's a real ride or die. He would never do what Andrew Santino did. This is a very slimy, very cringe, very disgusting, very bitch made behavior, but we shouldn't be surprised because there's fucking Andrew Schultz. But I didn't like this in the slightest. I thought this was fucking lame as fuck. But look at Andrew Schultz desperately try to insert himself and position himself in a way that he is Rogan's real bestie by insulting or reminding Rogan that Andrew Santino did something really bad by interviewing Mark Maron that one time.
But like, I do think that we're allowed to have an opinion on it. There's this idea like we're not allowed to have an opinion. It's like we're funding shit. We get an opinion on it. Plain and simple.
The idea that we shouldn't have an opinion is ridiculous. You should always have opinions. Your opinions could be uninformed. They're still your opinions. Like, you're allowed to have opinions. You're allowed to have the dumbest fucking opinion in the world, and other people.
Douglas Murray still living rent free in these guys' heads, isn't it? You know. Big up Douglas Murray, man. Douglas Murray fried these guys, isn't it? Expert, that whole expert talk, isn't it? He's still living rent free in their heads. Anti-intellectualism. Who would have thought Rogan would be one of the stewards, would be one of the forebearers, will be one of the fucking main proponents of anti-intellectualism? Who would have thought, man? Who would have thought?
That's a really dumb.
Oh, for the rise in the anti-experts, right? He's a hater of experts nowadays, Rogan. which is odd because Rogan's show is known for being, hey, I'm going to get the expert on this field, talk about this thing. Now Rogan hates experts. Google searches and fucking AI is enough.
Dumb opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're allowed to have opinions.
Yeah.
This idea that you shouldn't talk about opinions, like, shut the fuck up.
Yeah, this is the whole point. This
Just
is why
shut
we
up.
get to say whatever the fuck we want.
Well, it's a
That's why we're the
gatekeeper
best.
thing.
Us and Saudi Arabia. It's just us and Saudi Arabia, by the way. We're the best ones, by the way. Yes. Yeah.
What was that experience like going over there?
Man, it was like I've performed in the Middle East before, so
Right.
like
You've done a
everybody
bunch of shows out there.
Yeah, like it's just not everybody make.
I've always been a sellout. Why do you guys care now? I've always sold out. You know I don't give a fuck. You know my principles and morals are like are like a fucking kite. You know this. You know my principles and morals are like a fucking paper aeroplane. Come on, man. Of course, I sold out before. Why do you guys care now?
This big thing, like, oh my god, it's gonna be so crazy, blah blah. I posted I told you, I posted my set because people are saying all this shit, like, oh, I didn't change anything, and all these comics were doing it. I'm like, all right, well, I'll show you. This is what I did. You tell me if I took it easy on them. You tell me if I cared. And people made all this fucking big deal about like, oh, they made you sign a list of things you can't say, and it's just like, do you really think the fucking king cares about the clowns coming to the festival? Like, you think he really gives a fuck about that shit? No. Like,
Well, he would care if it was humiliating.
it's some middle guy who's like, I don't want to get in trouble, so I'm going to say this. They do that shit anywhere you go. They did that shit when I was in UAE. I didn't fucking look at it. I'll never look at a list once in my life. I'll perform wherever my fans are. I don't give a fuck. Like, that's my take on it. It's like, I'm going to perform wherever my fans are. I don't give a fuck what their governments do. I'm going to perform for my fans. Simple.
They didn't bring you there. Your fans didn't bring you there, though. Again, missing the point entirely. Your fans didn't bring you there. The government did in an effort to whitewash their crimes against humanity and human rights, or human rights violations, not humanity. But they could just a little bit, you know. I'm putting a little bit too much salt on that. But their crimes, the human rights violations. That's what they brought you there. They brought you there to whitewash their crimes. Okay, let's relax about wherever my fans are, as if he's like, I'm a true champion of the people. It's like, come on, shut the fuck up.
That's what it is. I just happen to have fans over there. There are a lot of guys who like can't perform outside of Brooklyn who are like, I would never go. It's like, well, no one was asking you.
Right. No one's inviting you.
Yeah. You also don't have to.
Right.
But it might be different if you got like tons of DMs of people going, please come out here. We've been watching your special. We've been doing all these things. You're like, oh, that'd be really awesome to come perform for you guys. So,
yeah, but the idea is you're being paid.
That's weird, isn't it? Like calling out people who calling you out for selling out and then calling them out saying that, oh, you don't have any fans, that's why you wouldn't go there. It's like, no, I wouldn't go there because I wouldn't sell out, and I wouldn't want to and I wouldn't want to let myself be used as a propaganda tool. You know, that's simply it, really. Like you don't ever want to be in a position where you're having to sell your soul for $1 or for $1. It really isn't that deep. And this is the thing as well that's really funny as well. It's not that deep for these guys.
Do you have a gun?
Big up Assad Aziz.
I hear you got fans in Kiev Schultz. See you there.
Exactly. You got fans in Ecuador too, right? See you there in Ecuador. Really can't wait to see Schultz up there in fucking Ecuador. Fucking dickhead.
Paid by a dictator.
Good, my fans get a discount. It's not like they didn't. It's not like they didn't have to pay for the tickets. Do you know what I mean? Like there's just a little added on top from the family.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it is what it is. Bro, this comic out there said the funniest. It's fucked up. He said the funniest shit. And I was like, yeah. So what do you think about them? You know, chopping up that journalist. He goes, they chopped up one journalist so women can drive.
Not that funny at all. Forcing it. That's a clear example of somebody forcing a joke. Not that funny at all.
Oh no!
I was dying, bro. I was dying. Bro, when we're out there, it was so funny.
I was dying, bro. She stares at Rogan. I was dying, bro. Stares at Rogan the whole time. Rogan, I was dying. Right, Rogan? Look, I was dying. Look at him staring at Rogan the entire time he's saying it.
Oh,
Dying,
no.
bro.
I was dying, bro. Rogan, are you dying?
I was dying. Bro, when we're out there, it was so funny.
That is true. Like MBS.
Whole mustache must smell of Joe Rogan's anus, you know? Whole mustache must smell like a fucking gay brothel, you know, in the morning, you know, after morning cleanup time. Whole fucking mustache must smell like asshole after he's done that Rogan, isn't it? He fucking loves Rogan. Jesus Christ.
That's not true, what you said, but
Yeah.
it is true that MBS is the
He's
reason
the
why women
progressive
can
one.
drive. Yeah.
The other guy, the NBM, was the guy who was going to be more conservative. But yeah, so it's like, it was
So one guy there is good, so we go there for the one guy, but the other guy we pretend he doesn't exist.
so funny because like when we were out there, like there are chicks driving now, obviously. You know what I mean?
How are they doing?
Well, we got in one accident, 2 female drivers.
They're new at it.
Bro, so it's like we got out the car and you could see the look on their faces, the parts of their faces you could see. And and they were just like, damn, man, everybody's going to know. And it was, but it's funny, they said they get the girls all like Chinese cars. And I was like, why do they drive the Chinese cars? And they're like, it's the cheapest cars. They're just figuring this shit out.
They just started driving. Like, imagine you're 50 and you just start driving tomorrow.
Yeah.
Like, that's crazy.
No, they figure that shit out. But yeah, it was fun, man. I don't know. Like, I don't even know if people care because, like, you see this shit online and, like, everybody feels like they need an opinion on it. I even see comics going, like, a lot of people have been asking my opinion on it, so, like, I need to give your fucking opinion.
Have they really been asking? Like, what are you talking
Nobody's
about?
asking a fucking opinion. It's almost to the point where, and then I ask, like, any regular people, they're like, they don't really care because they're watching, like, the 6 best tennis guys perform in Saudi this weekend.
And golfers and race
And
car
UFC,
drivers
and boxing and everything. So
Yeah.
it's just like, how much and they just put $1 billion into like a Hollywood movie studio.
Jesus Christ, man. What the fuck is happening with these guys? Like, they're trying to impress us that with this shit. They become proper propaganda tools for the Saudi government. It's fucking crazy, isn't it? They didn't even have to try that hard. They didn't even have to try that hard, and these guys are singing like just take the money and keep it moving. But this is just disgusting, really, isn't it? Oh, they have like music studios out there. Guess what? I even saw like a nightclub. Yeah, they have like a KFC there. So, huh? Shut up, man. Just have some shame, have some dignity, have some class. Take the money, shut the fuck up, and keep it moving.
So I'm screenshotting. Everybody who talks, I'm screenshotting because I'm waiting for you to do a movie with it. I'm waiting. I'm petty. I don't forget. You forgive. You know what I mean? You have somebody on your pod who had someone on their pod talking shit. You're better than me.
Yeah.
You're better than me.
You got to be able to just let things go.
I can't wait for Gavin Newsom to go on Bad Friends. I can't. I want to see I'm distancing myself from the Rogan Sphere tour.
That's
First
hilarious.
stop, Bad Friends.
That's hilarious.
Ew. Ew, 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 ew. I think that's super disgusting, super yucky, because more than likely he didn't bring this up with Andrew Santino. Now, if he brought this up with Andrew Santino and he came out and said, "Hey, why did you interview that guy? You're meant to be Rogan's friend," I would have told him to suck my dick. Yeah? But I'm pretty sure he probably didn't bring it up to Santino first. To go on to Rogan and to kind of play, I'm your best friend, look at me, I would never do that to you on air like this, as a grown-ass man with a wife and kid, with a mortgage and shit and a business, and it's just disgusting as a man to do this bitch-made behavior. Like, this is just disgusting and nasty. Does he have a point? Yes. But should he have approached it this way? No. Disgusting. 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 He should be embarrassed that he did this. I would never do that. He should probably have Gavin Newsom on next.
Powerful bunch.
Big up Saddest.
Schultz getting all emotional is hilarious. Rigi babes, that Santino boy is no good. I know you have a good heart, Zaddy, but he crossed you. We don't like him anymore.
No. It's like, and then imagine if Santino and Rogan become closer. That's such a bad move to make, because imagine if Santino and Rogan get over this little hump. It doesn't seem like Rogan's that bothered about it, but imagine if there is an issue behind the scenes, but Santino and Rogan work it out. It leaves you in a weird position. You really, I don't know about you guys in the stream chat. Maybe I'm not the good fucking person to listen to this sort of thing, because I don't really have a lot of close friends like that. But I do know when you're going through issues with your close friends, or when there's an issue in your circle of friends, your group of friends, right, your lads, you don't get in it. You don't get involved. You really don't. The most you can do is maybe force them to kind of sit down and talk, but you don't pick sides. You don't choose sides. You don't advocate for one over the other. You let it play out how it plays out, because eventually when they get cool again, if you're the one that was championing for one or the other, or talking bad about the one or the other, you're going to be left in no man's land when they get cool again. You're suddenly going to be the one iced out. That's why you don't get involved. That's why you don't fucking stick your nose in. Because if they get cool again, you're fucked. You are fucked. But it's also a bitch-made behavior.
I thought that was corny.
Yeah.
I thought it was corny.
Mate, you're corny. Look at ya. You're the definition of corny.
Yeah, we talked about that. I don't know. It is what it is.
You're more forgiving.
There's no time that you should, in my mind, no time that you should be spending on these kind of conflicts. It's like,
says the man that really just unprovoked brought up Maron's name and called him a fucking mentally ill, chastised him, talked about his ticket sales or lack thereof. Like, honestly, it's these guys, man. Funny lads. But you get the gist, right? You get it. Cool. Moving on to the main part of the show. Moving on to the pièce de résistance. The main part of the show. As you guys know, Bryan Callen has released a new comedy special. At the moment, the comedy special is currently sitting on 134,000 views, which I think is really good, because I don't think Bryan Callen buys views. I don't think he does. Or if he does, not to the extent that Brendan does. He's not that crazy to go and buy a silly 500,000 package. But I think if these views are real, if these views are not botted, I think 134,000 views is pretty fucking good for Bryan Callen. It's pretty fucking good, considering the amount of specials that are out there on YouTube, considering Bryan Callen's Bryan Callen, like he's not the most famous comedian in the world, considering the the Fire and the Kids on a downward spiral, considering he's coming off the back of a massive cancellation. I think, and he was out of sight, out of mind for a while when he was cancelled too. Not just big cancellation, but not being around and shit. I think 134,000 views in 7 days is really commendable. And you should be proud of it. Really should be proud of it. Really should be proud. Especially with the amount of content that's out there at the moment. The fact that people have taken time to watch a nearly an hour special on fucking YouTube to that length says a lot. But of course, these comedians, we know them too well. It's not good enough. It's not good enough. So Bryan Callen, in the latest episode of the Fire and the Kids, sat down, or not latest episode, the one with Mike Cafford, sorry, the one before the latest, and he basically poured his heart out about how he's not feeling great about the special, and he confessed something on the show which was really surprising, and he mentioned how he had a anxiety-ridden, catastrophizing phone call with Brendan Shaw that Brendan was not equipped to handle, where he basically was complaining about his place in comedy and whether or not people care about specials and if he wasted his time and and just questioning his life choices. And I think it's fucking utterly hilarious. But the whole conversation, again, for me, it really exposed just how ungrateful these comedians are, how entitled they are, and how delusional they are as well. Because as great as those views are, Bryan has to accept that those views are the way they are for a reason, and most of it is self-inflicted. Most of it is a consequence of the comedy bubble bursting. Most of it is a consequence of the way that he's maybe approached stand-up comedy, the way that he's not really marketed or pushed his stuff out there in the first place. But let's actually watch the clip and see how he reacted to it.
Capability there, and then you go to a really good comedy club and see people who have been on tour.
It's a bit of a long one, right? I didn't clip it that well. Please forgive me. It's a bit of a unique. It's a bit of a unique clip. It kind of rambles a bit, but it gets to a point where Bryan Callen speaks about the phone call he had with Brendan. So please forgive me. I'm on my unique tip right now. This is a bit of an out of context clip, but it will get to the main point.
tour for year, and you're like,
Speaking of which, my special dropped yesterday. Everybody,
That's
False
right.
Gods.
it's a different
YouTube.
thing. By the way, I was there for the filming of
you
said
were.
special, where I brought my lovely wife, and it is so.
By the way, notice that little point there. By the way, notice that little point there. Already, is another example why maybe the video hasn't done that well. My special is just, by the way, and Brendan had to say on YouTube. Bryan couldn't even promote his special. That little sentence there is another example why maybe his YouTube or his special hasn't maybe hit the heady heights that he probably need to hit. Most of it is self-inflicted. He doesn't even know how to promote properly. My special just dropped. And then Brendan has to say on YouTube. He couldn't even finish that bit. Come on, man. Fix up.
Oh, so good.
How long ago
Thanks,
did you
buddy.
film that, B?
January, long time ago.
It is so good, and I've seen Bryan.
Brendan. That was very passive aggressive. You know what he meant there, like fucking hell. And he just dropped it now. In fucking October. I don't even think, did Brendan even post on his story? I don't know if he even promoted. I don't know. Anyway, we'll talk about it another time. Let's continue.
Live a dozen times over 15 years, and I sincerely believe this is the best.
Watch mine instead.
I sincerely believe this is the best work he's ever done, because there's Bryan's silliness where he's a samurai and he's the best fighter in the world and he trains with a sword, but then there's also moments where it's really thought provoking, very, very meaningful, and I encourage
said,
everyone.
Funniest living comedian born before the Korean War.
Yes. Yes.
How do they get it, Bryan?
What's
If anyone
that?
wants to watch it, how do
YouTube.
they get it?
YouTube.
Just your YouTube channel?
Go to
YouTube, yeah.
How to get it right?
B, let's take a little break here, man, because one thing
I forgot to clip
Fleet
that out.
Fee gives me a
Apologies. I've got to clip out I've got to pick out the clip. Apologies. My fault.
TFTK to sign up as a VIP and get 80%.
And
It's
you did Rogan yesterday?
I did Rogan 2 days ago. It's funny because when you do Rogan, you get into a conversation, and it's not conducive to stopping the conversation and saying, by the way, watch my special.
That's not why
That's why you're on the show, though. Again, let's keep reminding ourselves. He's going to start crying and complaining that his special's not doing well, and he's going to questioning his life choices and shit. That's why you're on Rogan, brother. You're on Rogan to promote your special. You should be talking about your special. Rogan ain't going to bring it up. He's going to start ranting about ivermectin and fucking cold plungers. You have to bring it up. You're on the show to fucking shamelessly plug your work. Yes, it's obviously better to come across a little bit authentic and not plug it too much. But the reason why you're on the show isn't because you and Rogan are best friends and like to hang out with each other. It's because you've got a special to promote. So promote the fucking special on the show. Why wouldn't you say, my special available now on YouTube? Check out my special available now on YouTube. Like, be a little bit annoying with it. Fuck it. Why not? He used to do it in the past anyway. Why is he acting like he didn't used to do it in the past? He used to always fucking shamelessly shill and promote his stuff on Rogan to the point where Rogan will be visibly pissed off about it. Just do that. Do it for the fucking bit. Who cares? Oh, it's a conversation. It's a combat. No, it isn't a conversation. Rogan's talking at you and you're trying to suck his dick as he's talking to you. But come on, man. This fucking guy. He's wondering why he doesn't have more views. Obviously, promote your thing on the biggest show that you're on.
you're there.
It's not why you're there. You just do the podcast and
Also,
then
that
he'll
turns
mention it
people
later.
off.
Yeah.
They're not going to want to watch it.
Like people are like, why did you mention your special? I'm like, I don't.
Because you're useless. People on social media are criticizing you and calling you out for your lack of promotion, free marketing, not even paid shit. You're going on Rogan and he's not even fucking charging you. He probably should charge you. Free fucking promotion, and you don't promote your fucking special that you filmed at his club. God almighty.
Don't know
I
how
assume
to.
people that aren't in our space.
Yeah. Right. So I'm not wrong to not.
What's Brendan talking about? People that aren't in our space. What is our space? Podcasting. You don't do stand-up. What are you talking about? Our space.
Not have started it that way.
What are you supposed to do?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, well, and also it's
No, you should big up Ason. Not sure the Rogan bump is still even all that effective. Probably you're true, Ason. Probably the Rogan bump isn't that effective. But I'm sorry, at this point, the Rogan bump is quite transactional. The Rogan appearance isn't this fake friendship hanging out thing it was in the past. It's transactional. You go on Rogan to promote something. Rogan brings you on the show because he's interested in what you're doing. He's interested in what you said. and you go and promote and talk about the thing that you said or doing. It's pretty transactional now. It's not this like free flowing conversation. Remember in the past where there'll be a guest on the show and you'd be wondering, why is this person on the show? Last published book, 2012. Their appearances in 2016. No books up and coming. Just sit down and having a chat about some book they wrote 5 years ago. Or about something happening in the news now. Do you remember this happened in the past? That don't happen nowadays. Rogan appearances are press runs. It's a press run. Go there and promote your fucking shit. Especially if it's filmed at this comedy club. Like, what's wrong
Powerful bunch.
Look at what's our disease.
Imagine you're in your 60s, your life's work is bombing. Your career is in the dumps. And sitting across from you is Mike Catherwood giving you life advice. He'd be crying and complaining too. If I didn't already Cobain it.
Exactly. Mark Catherwood saying, yo, what? It was meaningful. That's a horrible review for stand-up special, you know? It was meaningful. Mike Catherwood trying to be as nice as possible and give you encouragement is telling you your fucking special was meaningful. That's horrible. Big up on disease.
It's different than like if you were doing another really large, huge scale if you're doing some, I can't think of off the top of my head a big podcast like that. But you're doing not even that, yeah, because you're friends. I was gonna say, but you and Rogan have been friends for 30 years.
Yeah.
I think for you to start talking business would be not only probably bad taste, but
it's not business. It's promoting his special that he put out. It's business that he filmed it at his fucking comedy club. Come on, Mike Catherwood, man. Don't be so dense.
It'd be weird.
It'd be off-putting.
So that's what happens. I'll get people to come to me and they're really serious offers and they'll say things like, and I get it, but they'll say, look, you have access to certain celebrities. If you bring this offer to them and they say yes, we'll give you a finder's fee.
Yeah.
And I always say, I could never go up to my friend like Rogan and say, hey, do you want to do this? Now.
But he's okay wearing a t-shirt, promoting something on his show. He's comfortable doing that. But when it comes to doing it in person, obviously he's uncomfortable. But he's more than comfortable because I'd imagine a large chunk of Callen's appearances on JRE, Fight Companions and stuff, I'm pretty sure he's wearing a t-shirt with a brand on it. I'm not going to look back into the archives, but I'm pretty sure if you went back into the fucking JRE archives and found appearances of Bryan Callen on the Fight Companion, on the Joe Rogan Experience, you'll find that he's wearing some type of t-shirt with a logo on it, with some sort of text on the front. I'm going as far to say those are definitely paid things. He's definitely getting some money in an envelope. So that's okay. But connecting your friend with some person and having a finder's fee isn't. Cool.
Now, if that were the case, I would have to also say, I'm asking you this. If you say yes, I'll get money.
Yeah.
I could never do that without telling him that. But of course, I wouldn't do that.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't do that. Sometimes when it's a crazy offer, like recently, I'll say to him, hey, here's a text. Here's what I got. Do you want to do this?
Yeah.
I'm just asking you because I happen to know the person, and that.
We've seen how we acted with toe holds. He's lying anyway. He's done this before. I don't know why he's acting like he hasn't done this before. We saw what he did when he was shilling toe holds, and Rogan basically nearly wanted to fucking kick him off the show with how much he was pushing the toe hold shit. So he needs to stop acting brand new and stop pretending like he's morals and he's got principles and he treats it like, shut up, bro. You see Rogan as a person to be milked. You see Rogan as an opportunity. You see Rogan as a cash cow, just as anybody else does. Don't pretend that you are fucking you are holding up or you cherish his friendship into another level. Like, shut the fuck up, man. Shut up. Hey yo, Queen Uche in the chat. Wow, go on Uche. Big up Uche. Big up Uche. Big up Big O in the chat.
I'll be a conduit, but that's it.
It's hard, and I can only imagine it's probably 10 times worse for someone of the stature of Joe Rogan. But I certainly deal with it with Dr. Drew, where people they'll hit me up and present me these, and they'll be like, this could be great for him. And I get put into a weird position because sometimes it is actually a great product or a great service, but at the same time, I'm like, do I want to compromise my relationship with him?
That's not why you're friends.
Rogan's strength is his ability to say no to almost everything, and I mean everything. And it could be amazing. I know he gets certain offers where it's like, holy shit. And his strength is, I don't want to do that, because that's going to bring a.
Oh shit! Look at Callen's arm. Look at Callen's arm, the right one. He's becoming an old man, isn't it? He's got like an old man arm. Shit. He's actually looking his age now, isn't it? Look at his arm, the right one. He's an old man, isn't it? Look, he's got a little old man elbow. Madness. I don't know, man. I think he should be happy about the views. I don't think he should be that pissed off. 134,000 views for a special on YouTube. If he hasn't botted those views, that's really good. That is really fucking good in this economy, in this climate. 134,000 views. What did he expect? Like, what did he actually expect? I'm really curious to know what he actually expected. I think that's decent for 7 days, man. More than decent.
Whole bunch of energy in this direction that I'm going to have to attenuate for.
I respect
but also he doesn't need to do it. Like, you're not, like, I know you're trying to be good for it. You're not helping him out.
He doesn't need to do it.
Well, that's the thing I was about to say is like, I respect it so greatly because he could, there's plenty of people in the public space who just take any gig because they're just so greedy or whatever. And I respect that about Joe. He's very discerning, but at the same time, it's also easy to be discerning when you're science fiction rich.
I know, but you know what? He was doing that before he was.
Yeah,
I saw
that's true.
it with my own eyes.
He's always been like that.
He was doing that. I'll never forget. He was probably 33. Can you look at when Black Hawk Down came out, the movie?
2000
with Piven?
2, 3.
Yeah.
I like how they have to be very clear with the instructions to Chin to Google. Can you find out when Black Hawk Down? You know, kind of has to over enunciate, so Chin catches it. Black Hawk Down. When was it released? The movie. What year? Because Chin's absolutely useless with Googling. They literally have to sound it out from step by step. Oh, big up Chin.
Let me just see. I'm going to tell you exactly what happened because it was crazy. And he called me up and he just said, damn.
Oh, you called it Mike Dion too.
Yeah. So in 2000, probably.
Okay.
2000, maybe 2001. So that's 25 years ago. All right. So he was 38, 30. He was like in his early 30s. And he just said, I'm not going to act anymore. And
wait, did they ask him to be in Black Hawk Down?
He auditioned for Black Hawk Down. But I remember then there was another audition. And he looked at the guy and he looked at the casting director and he said, I don't want to do that. And they were like, what? We just gave you an adjustment. He goes, yeah, if you're going to give me the part, I'll do it on the set, but I don't want to do that. And they called his agent. They were like, he's got a bad attitude. And then Rogan goes, I don't think I'm going to act anymore. I don't want to do this shit. But he didn't have a podcast. He had stand-up, but he wasn't.
They share all these stories about Rogan. Why didn't you do that then? Bryan's tried to audition for everything under the sun. They always share these stories about Rogan and lionize him and talk about all his good traits and things that have kind of helped to steer his career in a certain way and helped him along the way and put him in a certain trajectory. Why didn't you copy him? Why weren't you more discerning and more picky about the roles that you auditioned for? Why weren't you like that too? I don't get it. You know what I mean? Like, why are you just sucking off Rogan and talking about all the good things he done when you were there at the beginning and you could have done the same things that probably would have landed you in a far better position? I don't know why. They really cherry pick the things that they copy from Rogan. They copy the post and go shit, pretending not to read social media. But when it comes to actual things that can actually help their career, help their bottom line, then they're fucking perplexed. Oh my God, you were right there when he was making those choices. Why didn't you copy him?
That rich.
He had Fear Factor.
He had Fear Factor, or he was about to do Fear Factor.
No. By 2002, he had Fear Factor.
He was Scrooge McDuck.
Yeah, but when you say Scrooge McDuck, and he said it, and actually he's said it in person. He was probably making a lot, but it was $2 million. So after that, after taxes, probably $1 million.
Yeah.
What I'm trying to say is that it was never the money. He always behaved. I remember him when he was 28. And he had this house and he would spend money because he believed in himself.
Right.
But he was always insane about.
Big up. Aziz. Sounds like Rogan was too much. So it's not reading that out. Sounds like Rogan was too much of a control freak and a prick to work with others and respect an expensive production. No, why is that a good story? Yeah, true, exactly. That's actually a good way to. That's actually exactly. To be fair, I didn't think about it that way. That's actually a really good way to look at it too. Unless it's his show, unless he can run it, he doesn't want any parts of it. You know, As soon as he has to answer to somebody else, he's fucking out of here, you know? Yeah, he doesn't really play well with others, does he? Rogan, it seems like Rogan doesn't really play well with others. That's actually a very astute observation. Big up on Saddest.
The integrity of only doing what he wanted.
I respect it. I respect it so greatly because I'll be very honest. I think
Big up Tommy. Chin's still trying to find it exactly. Do you mean don't hold black? Do you mean Hawk down?
Because I got into being in the entertainment industry, being a performer, kind of by accident. It wasn't something like I hear almost all of you guys and your crew, and you're like, at a very young age, I wanted to be a comic, and I was willing to do what it took to get there.
Everyone wanted to be a comic, innit? Mike Catherwood. Thank God. Thank fucking God, man. Thank God he decided to have like a normal career, I think. Jesus Christ. This comedy thing, man. The fact that everyone wants to do it, I think it's similar to DJing, right? The thing that I love the most, but the fact that everyone can DJ, has DJed, will probably DJ at some point is proof that the art form itself isn't that serious, you know? This isn't that serious. But everyone's like, yeah, I'd like to DJ one day. I'm gonna do stand up. I want to be a stand up. It's like, what?
Was not. I mean, I was already working in radio before I kind of made the decision. Like this, I really enjoyed it. I could be something here.
Yeah.
And I was an aimless dude. So like, I don't know, especially now, when the industry is so different, and certainly like my professional prospects and my.
By the way, the amount of time that's gone by without Brendan interrupting, this is a real eye opener. I wonder if Brendan's been listening to a lot of the feedback he's been getting from the Q&As maybe or something. Fuck, you know. I don't think I've never not heard him not interrupt as much as this.
Ability to kind of make money in the industry. I don't know if I'd have that ability. I mean, I think like right now, if someone called me up to do like an ad campaign that in 2010, when I had way less going for me, I would have been like, fuck off. I probably right now would be like, oh, okay, I'll do it, you know?
Me and Bryan were talking about this yesterday. I was talking to the staff at Ways to Well. I don't know what kids do now to separate themselves. Like, it could be, you know, when we got started, we're niche, but we're the first like dynamic duo, and there wasn't a ton of podcasts. Now it's like
UFC and a comedian.
You had Rogan. That's what you did to separate yourselves. You had Rogan. I like how they don't acknowledge that fact. Kids nowadays have it much harder, have it much tougher because there's way more competition, and it doesn't really matter if you don't have a Rogan. Back then, if you had a Rogan, that turbocharged you. Like, let's not lie. Without Rogan, these guys wouldn't be where they're at now. Rogan was the real difference maker in their careers. Nowadays, kids actually have to make good shows, have to actually think about who they get on as guests. Think about the flow, the structure, the artwork, the editing, the social media, the clips. There's a lot more effort that has to go into shows nowadays just to compete, just to stay, just to keep your head above water. Back when they were doing it, easy peasy. Get your mates on. Everybody's fucking making it at the same time. You're all helping each other out, being on each other's shows, to sell tickets, to boost each other's name. Rogan, power, turbo boost, extra battery pack. Like, come on, bro. It's much harder now. Much harder now to make it. Much harder now. But I think it will probably be for the best, and the kids will come out of it probably, or the next generation will probably be funnier for it. But Jesus Christ, they had it easy with Rogan.
First professional athlete to have a pod, and the first comedian athlete duo. But so we are.
Is that true? First professional athlete to have, that doesn't sound legit. If that's true, that's a horrendous record and stat for him to hold. First professional athlete to have a podcast. I don't think I believe that.
Anomaly.
It's funny you say. I hate to interrupt you, but I remember.
No, please interrupt him. Interrupt everybody else.
Having the luxury of getting behind the curtain, how crazy certain professional media companies were with how they handled you and what they thought they could do with you and get out of you. We'll just take 70%, right? And you get to work for us. And you guys, like, I was there. I was like, wait, what they say?
I remember
that was the best.
Like, nah, we'll bet on ourselves.
Remember Fox?
Yeah.
When
they didn't know.
Well, they did at the time. They didn't know podcasting, and then they were just giving us the stew and everything. And then I was like, oh, we need to do YouTube. And then they saw how much like revenue and all that stuff. And they were in our contract was up, and they're like, okay, we're gonna take 70%. And me and Bryan are sitting there, and I go, for what? And they're like, well, because it's like, you know,
because you're in our building.
You're in our building. I
You
went,
get to put that letterhead right in the bottom of your
they're like, you
video.
get to say you're with Fox Sports. I'm like, yeah, nobody cares. I can go rent a studio across the street.
That's right. You said nobody cares. I remember, and that was like, what are you talking about? And then you went bad on them. He went bad on them.
Because because I was like, all right, we're fucking
we were
out
asked
of
to
here.
leave the next day.
Well, no, he goes, all right, man, I know you like to get on your show and talk about this stuff. He's like, do not talk about it on the show. I'm like, okay. And then literally I was like, Bryan, we got to do a podcast. And I just went nuts.
I love it.
And
then we came in the next day. We had security. They didn't even let us get on our own shit. They wouldn't let us in the building.
They wouldn't let us in the building. And then this.
That's not nothing to brag about. I'm not going to lie. Why would you go out of your way to piss off Fox? Why wouldn't you want to split from them amicably? Politely decline their offer. Say you're not going to give them 70% of your AdSense. Maybe come to a resolution that works best for both of you. If it doesn't, shake on it and split on amicable terms. Maybe try to find a way where you can maybe use the studio for the length until you find a new place or until your contract's ended. Maybe there's a time, there's a little buffer in between the 2 weeks and shit to save you some money on fucking studio cost. And maybe later on down the line, if a deal comes up, Fox Sports can come back and say, hey, we want you back again. And you can, now you've got more fucking leverage, you've got more clout, you can negotiate better terms. Like, such a strange boy, like bragging and, oh yeah, we pissed off Fox. It's like, now look at what it's cost you. Pissed off Fox, pissed off Showtime. Now look, in a fucking gazebo somewhere.
This giant football player who played pro football, huge guy, was a little bit. Something happened with that, and then you were fighting still, and you were like, we can tussle.
Yeah, I was down. Yeah,
I remember that too. The whole thing.
But the point is, like, I don't like back then.
Brendan was always the bully, always ready to fight, always a fucking bully.
It was like such a unknown, and there wasn't a million podcasts.
Yeah.
Now it's like when kids are like, if they're trying to get started now, I don't know what you do. Like the day and age of like me and Bryan get on here and just talk shit and talk about our lives, and we have a built-in audience because we've been doing it for so fucking long. But say two like 25-year-olds or even two 30-year-olds are like, man, we want to start a podcast.
I'll tell you what you do.
We're just gonna get on here and talk shit. I'm like, good luck.
No.
Yeah.
Like those days are over.
You got to get on Kill Tony or Gutfeld. Those are the two that sell tickets. It's almost like Carson back in the day. They're like two shows in town. And then everything else is.
But you're talking from a comedian standpoint. Yeah. Podcasting?
Yeah. Oh, no.
Go on, Kill Tony?
Sell tickets, Why don't you tell people about trying to be funny, trying to create a unique show, have a unique voice, have a unique point of view? Why not try to tell them to create something that can stand the test of time? Sell tickets. Like, fucking hell, these motherfuckers. They're so money hungry, innit? It's no wonder the comedy sucks so much. Never about the enjoyment, never about the quality of the show, fan love, appreciation, giving back what they've taken out, continuing on the legacy of great stand-ups that come before you, laying down a good example for others to follow. None of that shit. Just tickets.
Gutfeld? That's not going to do it.
If I had,
there's no Johnny Carson anymore.
If I had young men in my life that that meant a lot to me, let's
pause.
20s, college age, and that's what they wanted to do.
Crystalia, pause.
My best advice to them, I'd be like, regardless of what you want to do right now, get a trade.
Yes.
And by the way, if you want to have a podcast about sheet metal, about welding, awesome. Learn to, because right now everyone and their mother is trying to make money by being famous.
Yes.
If you learn how to do something and you get really good at it, do something that like really pulls weight. Like if shit hit the fan, you could actually help. That's
actually good advice, but not about shit hits the fan. Just get a regular job and do the thing on the side. That's what you should be doing. Most people. If you like football, get a regular job and talk about football on the weekends or whenever the sports are on the evenings. It's going to fucking kill you. You're probably not going to have much of a social life, but if you enjoy it, you'll fucking do it for shits and giggles, make some extra beer money, all right? Make some fucking extra baggy money. It's not that deep, but it's actually good advice. It actually is good advice, but this whole like, oh, if shit goes, like, no, like, like the comedy and the entertainment industry isn't a bit like they think it's a be all and end all. They think a be all and end all is to do this. Everyone wants to do this. Like my ultimate goal in the end is to get to a point where I'm not on social media. I'm not on the internet at all. Like I don't know, that should be the exit plan for most people who make content. You do your content, you have a fucking blast, you create some great memories, some long lasting moments, some giggles, some crying, some whatever. And then you get to a point where you've done enough, you've made enough where you can just like chill and not be on the internet and not have an opinion on it and everything, right? And not be so informed. Like I would love to be not informed. I would love to be uninformed. I'd love to be blissfully unaware. You know, that's fucking the plan. Most people have a good life that way. That can just go to work, come back home, not have to engage with all this fucking shit, right? I fucking watch T-Fat K, for fuck's sake. I watch T-Fat K make clips. Imagine my brain. my brain is fucking okra. My brain is slimy okra, bro. I swear to God, my brain is fucking fufu. My brain is fucking porridge. So I think it's actually better just to be like, you know, doing it on the side, working a regular job, and tapping in when you want to, going away when you don't want it. You know what I mean? Instead of these guys, oh, you have to be hung around. Oh, so shut up.
That's the best thing you do. And by the way, there's always one of the greatest things about being genuinely talented in the entertainment industry is that there's no time limit. Regis was doing what I consider.
Big up MM in the chat. Big up Queen. Big up MM. I'd rather just take Tripoli's money than work. So far, so good. Impossible to hate. Impossible not to stand. Impossible to hate. Impossible not to stand. All hail the Queen. Big up MM. I don't blame you in the slightest, man.
What I want to do with the rest of my life. Regis did it till the day, literally till the day he couldn't do it anymore. It's not like being an athlete. It's not like being other jobs. Like you can do it forever.
And also with AI, like if you have a
By the way, this is a terrible clip because this is meant to be the clip where Bryan complains about not doing well in his special. This is a terrible long-winded clip. I'm on my unique thing. I know I'm on my unique thing. Please forgive me. But it's coming up now.
Like AI is not going to replace plumbers or fabricators,
and also
it can't.
More importantly than because I have no business telling people how.
Why don't you tell your kid to do that then? What's the tongue thing? Why don't you tell your kid to do that? Why you keep telling your kid to pushing your kid to fucking baseball when the likelihood of him making it is very, very slim to none? Why don't you push your kid to a trade, eh? Talking out of one mouth and doing the other thing, eh?
To be rich, because I'm not rich, nor have I ever like really been wildly successful from an objective standpoint. But what I will say is like I do spend a lot of time looking at things and thinking about things, and I'm very wrapped up in my feelings.
That's rich, bro. Only people who have money or who have like some level of, you know, comfortability in their finances have the time and the luxury to think. Most of us can't think. Thinking is costly. Thinking is very, very costly. I'm not rich. The fact that you have time to think this much about things like this is probably proof that you're probably doing a lot better than you think you are.
Specifically as a guy, and I hate to put a gender slant on it, going to bed at night knowing that you're really good at something that means something makes more difference in the world than any amount of course, like who doesn't want to be rich and comfortable? But I'm saying like being able to
it's literally
live your day knowing like you know what, people, my toilet breaks and they call me and I fix it and I do a really good job.
That's literally the only thing that's kept me sane.
Yeah.
Because like I had 2 sets at the mothership last night and my new shit is
Here we
like
go. You were on one yesterday.
I was on one, brother. I was on one, and I
had to get off the phone. Notice how I hurried up. I was
dude,
like,
I
I'll
don't
call you
blame
later.
you. I had to get off the phone.
Yeah.
At the mothership last night, and
by the way, notice how terrible of a friend Brendan is. Bryan was having some sort of mental breakdown, some sort of anxiety-ridden fucking situation, panic, maybe, you know, what you call it? Maybe just life crisis, right? Thinking about where he's at now in his life, his comedy, questioning things. He gets onto his phone to his best friend, and Brendan's like, I couldn't even speak to you. I had to get off the phone. Do you notice how I was rushing off the phone? I couldn't even speak to you. You're just, isn't that your best friend? Why can't you fucking soothe him? Why can't you calm him down? Why can't you talk him through his issues? Why can't you let him kind of rant and use you as a fucking sounding off board or just a shoulder to cry on? What a shitty friend. Like, honestly, I think Bryan's being a little bit hysterical. He's being a little bit too much. Relax. It's not that deep. 134,000 YouTube views on a comedy special in 2025 on YouTube is really fucking good. In 7 days is really fucking good, especially if he hasn't botted any of the views. This should be, he should be happy about this and content, but he's not. But Brendan not being willing to kind of comfort him in a moment of stress and anguish is kind of fucked up.
My new shit is like.
And you were on one yesterday.
I was
when we
on
talked,
one, brother.
we were going
I was
through
on
it.
one, and
I had to get off the phone. Notice how I hurried up. I was
dude,
like,
I
I'll
don't
call you
blame
later.
you. I had to get off the phone.
Yeah, Bryan was like, I can't believe I don't even like talking to you like
Have you ever heard me like that?
No, well, I was driving because I was doing some
because my
car
feelings
stuff.
are hurt so bad. Like like I put out this special and nobody. It doesn't matter, right? Like in a way, it doesn't.
It's true though. It doesn't matter. It's actually true though. I don't want to laugh at him, but it's actually true. It really doesn't matter. None of it matters. None of what I do matters. None of what most people do on the internet matters really. If we all disappear tomorrow, you know what I mean? You guys will find something else to do. It's not that deep. None of us are that important that make content like this. It's not that important. But these guys work themselves up to a tizzy. They worked themselves up into a position where they actually thought they were really important. That's the problem. They actually thought they were really important. They actually thought we gave a fuck about what they had to say, that we were hanging on their every word. And now a lot of people, especially online, are very discerning when it comes to comedy. They can call shit out. They know what stuff is hack, what stuff isn't, what stuff is good, what stuff isn't. And, you know, some people are just off the strength of the thumbnail, like, you know what? Pass. I wonder how many people, just off the strength of the thumbnail alone, Full Squad's 1 hour special, Bryan Callen full comedy special live at Joe Rogan's, what? No thank you. They didn't even give it a chance even to check it out. They didn't even view it for 1 second. So Bryan finally realizing what most of us have realized. You really do not matter.
Doesn't matter.
Specials aren't special anymore.
They're not special. Nobody watches it. It's not going to make
that's
a
what you need.
No. Mistake. Specials are good. Specials are special. Specials aren't special no more is the ultimate cop out, is the ultimate cope to excuse your special terrible. Obviously Brandon will say that because he's got one of the worst rated comedy specials of all time. I think he's got 2 of them, right? Bottom 2 or top 2. Amazing fucking comedy to be in. But special comedy specials are special. When a good one comes out, we all watch it, we all talk about it, we all recommend it to each other. Most of them aren't that good. That's the problem.
Understand, like,
it doesn't matter.
Like and I'm
awkward.
It doesn't matter.
Specials aren't special anymore.
They're not special. Nobody watches it.
That's what you need to understand. Like,
it doesn't matter.
What the fuck was that? He doesn't give a fuck. Bryan trying to have a real tender moment, right? A real heart to heart. Really trying to pour his heart out. And this guy, what the fuck was he doing?
That's what you need to understand. Like,
it doesn't matter.
It
doesn't matter.
That's what you need to understand. Like,
it doesn't matter. 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 It doesn't matter.
You got Mike Affleck. What a legend.
Like I'm towards the end of it. Like that medium of like specials used to be special. Well, now they've just lost their significance. Yeah. And I'm not saying your special's not important. It's important.
They've lost their significance because most of them are shit. Netflix used to buy that stuff, right? You know what's really wild, actually? That's really heartbreaking to Callen. Callen's never had a special on the streaming platform, you know? I think somebody said it. Who said it? Maybe Elephant Graveyard made the point. Someone made the point, which I never knew. Callen has never had a stand-up special on a streaming platform. Bryan Callen has never had one on one. Not comedy fucking, what's your thing called? Not Comedy Central. not anything in the past, like Hulu or whatever, Tubi. He's had no special on the streaming platform ever. Kind of wild, isn't it, when you think about it? Considering how long he's been in stand-up, friends with Rogan, that's brutal.
But what I'm saying
to
is,
me it is, but it's not.
To me and you and
the
like some of the
noise.
older heads, it's important.
I still remember that time Brendan bullied Callen into not releasing his special on Comedy Central at the time, I think, or something, and instead packaging it in T-Fat Kid 3D. Do you remember that? When Brendan convinced Callen to do that and fucked him, basically. Do you remember?
But
yeah,
in this
big up Joe, exactly. Great man think alike. Big up Joe. Big up Joe. You remember.
day and age, like to ask someone to sit down and watch an hour of stand-up
It ain't happening.
it's just not the way the game works.
No, it does happen. If your special is good, people will watch it. If your special is good, people will watch your 1 hour special. People will watch your 5 hour special. This is not true. Somebody's going to do it anyway. I don't know who, but somebody's going to release a stand-up comedy special that's like 3 hours long on YouTube. And watch the views. Watch the fucking fanfare. Watch the reviews. Watch the comments. Watch the likes. Someone's going to do it. I don't know who, but somebody's going to do it and prove these guys wrong. Oh, it's an hour. That's a problem. So we're going to break it down into 10-second. Like, no one, if it's not funny, it's not funny, brother. It's not about how long it is or how not long it is. Is it good or not? Like, it's not about that. These motherfuckers.
Blame them.
I know, but it's, and I'm not saying it's right. It fucking sucks.
Nothing's like
I
that.
don't know what to do, but
It hurts my feelings so bad, and it makes me
but
mad.
it's not a Bryan
fucking me
Callen
up.
problem.
It's not, is it?
It hurts my feelings so bad and it makes me mad. I'm confused by what makes him mad and hurts his feelings. What did he expect then? That's what I would love to know. What did Bryan Callen expect? It hurts my feelings and it makes me really mad. 134,000 views on YouTube for your stand-up special that's nearly an hour long is really good in this economy. It's really fucking good in this fucking economy. If you didn't buy those views, that is fantastic work. It's fantastic to build from. But like I said before, Bryan's not the most social media friendly person. His marketing skills suck. He has a bad reputation off the back of those rape and sexual assault allegations. He's on a show with Brendan Schaub, who's widely regarded as one of the most hated comedians of all time. Rightfully so, right? People despise Brendan. Like, there's a whole subreddit dedicated to watching him crash and burn every fucking single day and pick apart every mistake that he makes, every fucking error, every mispronunciation, everything, right? They have an encyclopedic knowledge of all the L's that Brendan Schaub has received over the years, and they love to remind him about it. You are closely associated with him, if not joined at the hip with that guy. He was out of the limelight, out of the way for a while during that rape stuff, right? He kind of like disappeared for a bit. I think 134,000 is a good result, all those things considered. I don't know what he was expecting. I really don't know what he was expecting. I think if he told us what he's expecting, I think that would give a good idea about how delusional and detached from reality most comedians are, because I don't know why he's crying. You should be crying tears of joy. Honestly, if it's me, and I've got to be honest, hand on heart, if you had to ask me, gun to my head, I think over 100,000 views over 7 days for Bryan Callen is stupendous work. That should have always been the aim. Can we get over 100,000? That's a nice number, bro. 100,000 views. When's the last time a single episode of T-Fat K did 100,000 views? When's the last time? Organically. When's the last time T-Fat K has ever done 100,000 views organically that you can believe? Come on, bro. And the thing that's really fucked up about this situation, right? Brendan's sitting there lecturing him about entitlement, expectations, trying to basically talk him through this whole, breakdown he's having. But Brendan fubbed his numbers. Brendan bought his views. BGL told us. Brendan bought his views. Brendan wanted to have his special get 1 million views, I think, for the week, right? I think that was a benchmark. Maybe it's still the benchmark with comedians. Like if you release a special on YouTube, I don't know why that even matters really, to be honest. It should mostly be about, is it funny or not, right? Like, are people in the comments saying that they're dying, I spit my coffee out, oh my god, my ribs are hurt. You know what I mean? You want the, I don't know if I really care about views. I'm not gonna lie. If I did a stand-up comedy special and I put it out on YouTube, I wouldn't be that bothered about the views. I'd be more concerned about the comments and the likes. Like, are people enjoying this? You know? But Brendan bought all these views. He's sitting here lecturing Bryan and telling him to be a bit more appreciative, and it's not you, and and took him off the ledge. Bruh, you didn't those views that you got are not legit. They're fucking fuego. They're foo-foo. Come on, bro. What is this guy?
That's what I was trying to tell you yesterday. It's not a Bryan Callen problem.
Yeah.
Everyone's dealing with it.
Right. I felt so terrible for the past.
That's not true, MM. It's not true. 144 is horrible, especially if someone's Rogan. It doesn't matter. People go on Rogan who aren't that famous don't get that many views. Not everybody that goes on Rogan gets 1 million views per episode. If you're not that well known, or if people don't give a fuck about you, they just won't view it. You see all the time on JRE library of fucking guests. The views are very much related. Are very much they have a lot in. There's a lot more correlation between this. The show was good. Did Rogan and that person have good chemistry? Do people give a shit about he or them, he or her? That's the most important thing. I don't think Rogan appearance automatically should mean that you should get a certain amount of views. That's not the case at all. That is not true. If Bryan Callen thought that, then that's where he flopped.
Like 2 days, like terrible. But like I had a set last night at the mothership, like I said, my new shit is it's hitting like the old shit. And it reminded me that I have that skill that when I'm on.
Yeah. My new shit is hitting like my old shit, but your old shit you're crying about and saying you needed more views. It's probably not the best analogy, is it? You have a special skill set.
I'm proud of it. Yeah. I'm really good. I'm as good as.
It's good you went
I think
up
I'm
there.
as good as anybody.
Yeah, it's good. You should. This massive cope, man. Massive fucking cope. I tell you that all the time.
And Ari Maddie hit me with a tag with this one thing I did, and I was like, and we started laughing in the green room because Ari was like, dude, he watched it and he was like, I fucking love that. This new thing I'm doing.
Big up Uche. He's comparing himself to the views of his past specials, seeing how much relevance he's lost. That's the thing. Like, if it was me, what's the word? Is it relative, right? Relative? You would adjust those views. So if Callen used to get, imagine if Callen's previous special got like 500 views in 7 days. I think 140,000 is about relative to the drop off across the board on all podcasts, across the board on the TFATK, his diminishing reputation, Brendan Association, Crystal. Like, I think 140 is about right. Maybe 200 if you're lucky. But I think if you used to get 500,000 views on your special 5 years ago, let's say pre-cancellation, which is maybe more than 5, but let's say 5 years as a base, 140 is about where he should be at. No, I don't necessarily see what he's like crying about, to be honest.
He goes, try this tag. And I was like, motherfucker. And then he gave me the tag. And then this morning I wrote a whole bunch of stuff. So no matter what, even though I feel terrible, I have that.
Yeah. But why do you feel terrible? Yeah, please tell us. Because you want to
I can't sell tickets. Sometimes I feel like you want no matter what.
I'm not going to lie. Stand up is brutal. I can't sell tickets because I think a lot of this is because this is all built on a house of cards, isn't it? This is all built on a house of lies. This is a problem. They buy views for TFATK. They talk about nearly set, like, I think they worked themselves up into a tizzy. All this like nearly sold out, down to the last few, nearly sold out. All this stupid talk that they go on about, right? Lying about selling out shows when they didn't sell out shows. Acting as if they're on tour when they're not really, and they're going to just a few comedy clubs in their home state. That's not necessarily a tour. I think you have to at least travel out of state, at least from one other state, right? And I think a tour counts if you just go to the 5 comedy clubs within your home state. But regardless, I think all of that shit is what makes them have this outsized or this like unrealistic view of what they're actually at, what level they're actually at. That's the problem. And it bites them in the ass at some point because
in this sort of space, in this sort of business, at some point you're gonna get a wake up call as to where you're actually at, and this is probably where. But I just think Bryan's had such a long career in entertainment. I don't know, bro. Like, how did you think this was gonna end? It was never gonna be forever, bro. Like, I don't get it. Like, I just don't get why he's this upset about it. Obviously, you don't need to be happy that you're not selling tickets, but brother, you had a good run, man. The fact that you still can make a living from doing stand-up, despite everything that's gone on in his life, despite his age, despite the amount of competition out there, it's something to be proud of. Like, shit, I can still make a living from this. Like, is that not enough? Like, how much more do you fucking want, man? Like, god damn. You got everything out of the game. You were in the game before the game was crowded. You got the Rogan co-sign. You started at the Comedy Store when that was popping at the best era. They talk about the Comedy Store during the greatest era ever. You happen to be best friends with Rogan. Like, you got, how much more do you want, bro? You got so much out of the game. Like, god damn. Stop crying.
Art response, you know what I'm saying?
Whatever. No, I mean, I feel like no matter what I do, I can't. I guess what I feel like I just want to be able to sell enough tickets so I can continue
to make a living.
Like,
yeah.
And that hurts my feelings.
Let me.
So you can't make a living doing stand-up? Okay, so take it back. What did he say? I want to continue doing it. Let me just rewind that one again. So can he currently not make a living doing stand-up? So why does he do stand-up then? Just to promote his podcast?
Feel terrible. I have that.
Yeah. But why do you feel terrible? Because you want to.
I can't sell tickets. Sometimes I feel like
you want a
no matter
Kevin
what
Hart
I do,
response.
No,
you know what I'm saying?
Whatever. No, I mean, I feel like no matter what I do, I can't. I guess what I feel like I just want to be able to sell enough tickets so I can continue
to make a living. Yeah.
And that.
I just want to. No, okay. Brendan's one said living. He said, I just want to sell enough tickets to continue doing the road. So I guess at this particular point in time, he doesn't sell enough tickets to justify going on the road. The cost of him traveling outweighs the money he makes at the door, most likely. Which makes sense because it's fucking Bryan Callen. Limit the amount of times you're going on the road, then, brother. Being on the road isn't the be-all and end-all. Limit the amount of times you're going on the road. Start smashing the local circuits. Go and play at all the fucking clubs in and around your local area. Maybe this is also why you probably shouldn't move to fucking Texas. Because there's probably not a lot of comedy clubs there, right? In Austin, in general. There's probably only, a couple. Ones that you're going to bother about who are going to pay you anything worthwhile. That's why it's probably better to have stayed in LA. But obviously, LA is kind of blacklisted, I think. I think because of all the rape allegations and shit. And, with LA being quote-unquote woke and shit, I don't think he's probably persona non grata. But that's why it probably would have been better to stay in LA and just do that circuit. Because at least then you can make a good living just by doing the local circuit. But if you can't sell tickets on the road, but then the only tickets you do sell are on the road, or the only prospect, it's a bit of a tough place to be in, isn't it? I just think he has to be happy with his lot. Limit the amount of times you go on the road, perform mostly in your local circuits and make that work, bro. And obviously, you can still try to push yourself on social, put more clips up, be a little bit more socially native and shit, promote yourself a little bit more. Bryan doesn't do that. Goes on Rogan and is too shy to promote his special. I don't know, man. What do you want me to do? What do you want us to do for you? You have all the things given to you and you fumbled it. It is what it is.
That hurts my feelings.
Let me.
And I'm just being totally honest.
And I've gone through it.
But not to. If you listen to Jim Norton's podcast, because he had. Who do you have on? I forget who he had on. Our boy. What's his fucking name? White boy. Wrote the Chappelle Show.
Brock Lesnar.
Neil Brennan. Neil Brennan. He had Neil Brennan on.
Brock Lesnar.
And Neil was like, hey, how do you feel like when you go on the road, certain markets, and and Jim Norton, he's been doing it forever. And he goes, yeah, I used to do theaters. Because there was a time when I did theaters. And then there's a time now where they'll have to close on they'll have to close the second row. And he goes, and then the managers at the club, and we've all been there. The managers come and go, man, it's this weekend, there's whatever, the gymnastics tournaments in town. And
Austin City Limits.
Yeah, and Jim goes, I'm going to stop you. It's not that. Trust me, if people want to come see me, they're going to see me.
How about the DA? Let me see if I can find that clip. Let's find that. That's one of my favorite clips. Brendan Shaw, DA record. That was one of the worst lies ever about why he couldn't perform somewhere. Let's see. Has someone got this? DA record. Oh, someone must have it, right? Someone must have it. Where is it? The DA record. Let's see if I can find it on the front. Let me see, maybe it's on Reddit. The DA. Bear with me 1 second here. Apologies. DA. Let's see if it's on there. DA. Is that it? No, that's not the one. Where is it? Where is it? Bear me a second on here. Well, actually, I think that might be it. This might be a clip here. Hold on. Someone must. It's a compilation. Maybe it's here. Maybe it's a compilation here. There we go. I think that might be it.
He goes, yeah,
I think this might be it. Someone might make a compilation about it. Let's see. This might be it. Actually, this might be a good one. DA record Redux. Let's see this.
Used to do theaters because there was a time when I did theaters, and then there's a time now where they'll have to close on they'll have to close the second row. And he goes, and then the managers at the club, and we've all been there. The managers come and go, man, it's this weekend, there's whatever the gymnastics tournaments in town. And
Austin City Limits.
Yeah, and Jim goes, I'm going to stop you. It's not that. Trust me, if people want to come see me, they're going to see me. And I appreciate you trying to make me feel good. I know exactly what's going on. It's okay.
Yeah.
He goes, so I bail them out. Listen, I know what you're trying to do. It's me. It has nothing to do with what's going on with your city.
I take responsibility.
Yes, he goes, I take responsibility. And he goes, once I accepted that, I'm good, man.
He's, as a comic, it's tough, man. Like, I had to reschedule my San Francisco dates this coming weekend because they recalled the district attorney and people aren't going out to clubs and restaurants. No one's coming to the city. So they wanted
to... Oh my God, bro. What an insane lie. The district attorney got recalled, so nobody's going outside. Nobody wants to go outside. Nobody wants to go to clubs. They don't feel safe. It's the purge. The district attorney getting recalled triggered a purge. Nobody wants to be outdoors after 6 p.m. Oh my God, honestly, I can't believe this lie, man. Brendan, back in the day, his lies used to be so fucking flagrant. So crazy.
push the dates till things are a little safe.
Yeah, look at those eyes. Look at those alky eyes. Look at those empty bottles of liquor in the back. Look at the famous shoey. You can see the famous shoey there. You can see the famous little shoey. You see the Yeezy there. Remember, he was going to change the shoe every week, remember? This is going to be like his sneaker thing. Every week will be a different shoe. He didn't change it once. The famous shoey, the empty bottles of fucking liquor, the fucking whiskey eyes, the bloated face, pre-Ozempic, right? If Ozempic wasn't invented, he'd still look like this, by the way. If Ozempic was never invented, Brenda will still look like this. So do not get it confused. Or don't be falsely confused.
So I'll have some updates as far as when we're rescheduling San Francisco, but that's out of my control, man.
District Attorney got recalled. Honestly, what a fantastic lie. What a fantastic lie.
And I appreciate you trying to make me feel good. I know exactly what's going on. It's okay.
Yeah.
He goes, so I bail them out. Listen, I know what you're trying to do. It's me. It has nothing to do with what's going on with your city.
I take responsibility.
Yes, he goes, I take responsibility. He goes, once I accepted that, I'm good, man. I know it's all good, dude.
Yeah. There's a thing you said to me. He said, Bryan, it's called the butterfly principle. Sit still, and the butterfly is not going to land on you if you keep chasing it. And you just got to sit still. And if
Jesus Christ, he's going through it, isn't it? His friends are having to give him they're having to give him these fucking postcard philosophical fucking quotes to keep him level, to keep him from offing himself or something. Shit. Bryan, bro, it's not that deep, brother. You're nearly 60 years old, if not 60 already. You had a good run. Even without the cancellation, I don't think you're gonna. He was not destined to be super famous. Like, let's be real. Even without the cancellation, he was never gonna be super fucking famous. You had a good fucking run, and you're still doing pretty decently now. Like, I know maybe it's not what you'd expect it to be, but also you don't have to be doing this. Like, you have a rich dad. You can just work for him, wait for him to fucking pass away, get his inheritance, and live a comfortable life. You don't need to be bothering or trying to pursue this, or it's such a waste of time. Like, this guy doesn't have that much time left on the earth anyway. Why are you wasting your time trying to compete with fucking Matt Rife? Like, I don't understand this. I really don't get it. Really don't get it, bro. He really wants to be out there going toe to toe, blow for blow with Matt Rife and shit. Like, it's done. It's over, bro. It's over. Enjoy the last bits of fucking sunshine. It's over.
If the butterfly lands, it lands. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But I think you're right. Letting go of this fucking crazy thing that I'm chasing. This, I don't even know what it is. Maybe it's because I have financial responsibilities. Maybe it's because
that's a big one.
Yeah, and
it's a huge one.
My feelings are hurt. My feelings are hurt.
If you've got big financial responsibilities, it's time to fucking fix up and get a job, man. It's time to fix up. Honestly, I don't know. I couldn't imagine. People in the stream chat, let me know in the stream chat. Could you imagine being 60, even if he comes from a rich family? People in the stream chat, let me know in the stream chat. Could you imagine being 60 and still relying on invoices? Could you imagine being 60 and still relying on like Google AdSense? Still relying on views? Still relying on ads on podcasts and shit. Ad rates. I couldn't do it, bro. At 60 years old, I'm sorry, I need a paycheck. I need a steady paycheck. At 60 years old, I need a steady paycheck, bro. Or my own business that I'm doing and I know what's coming. You know what I mean? Like relying on like content to make your fucking, to cover your nut, as Brendan would say, to pay your bills is insane if you think about it. It really is fucking insane. Bryan should be in a place where he should be making enough money from his own channel, really and truly, considering how long he's been in stand-up, considering he was Rogan's best friend. That famous clip, that famous picture of him and Rogan in the back of that fancy car in LA somewhere, in Vegas, I don't know where they are, in fancy shirts, looking like they're on the way to fucking, you know, paint the town red. Bryan really should have his own channel, his own thing, that should be generating him enough money to cover his nut. Really and truly, let's be fair. He shouldn't even have to worry and be dependent on Bryan or dependent on Brendan, dependent on fucking Rogan's generosity and the comedy club that he has. Like, come on, bro. He's put himself in this position because of poor planning or whatever else it may be. You know, it is what it is. Maybe he thought his career would go another way. It kind of went another way because of the allegations and time and blah, 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 blah. Bad luck, that could happen as well. But if I was him, I would course correct. This is the time to course correct. Either go work with dad, go work with father, find something, I don't know, let him fucking get a contact to help you do, I don't know, whatever. Export and shipping. This, I'm sure his dad can sort him out with something. Like, surely coming from an affluent family has its perks. There should be somebody that can sort you out with some pencil pushing, paper pushing, admin job that you don't really have to, you know what I mean? Like, there's someone that can sort out with something. That's what you should be doing, not trying to figure out ways where you can crack the algorithm on TikTok. You know what I mean? Talk to your dad and find out a way that you can maybe get in touch with his fucking Greek business associates that might be able to, you know, get you on board to work for his fucking shipping company, you know, doing fucking sales or something where you don't even have to hit a target, or I don't know, do that sort of shit. This stuff is just horrendous, bro. Relying on an invoice and AdSense to look after two families. Couldn't be me.
For what happened with
yours is, I mean, we have this open discussion. And I'm mad for you. I'm mad at everything. Same, but like yours isn't a case of you got really famous and then you just stopped putting in the work and died off, because you can only burn for so long. I don't give a fuck who you're, athletes, even Rogan, whoever it is, Kevin Hart knows Kevin Hart.
He's actually making a good point here. But he's actually not making it all the way. But he's actually making some of a good point here.
It's not that around that much anymore. He's not Kevin Hart. Sure. You can only burn for so long, so bright. You burnt for a long fucking time.
I did.
You can only maintain that gear for so long, and then you got to come down, dude. Right. You got to come down. The difference between your come down wasn't your choice. Your come down was because trying to be cool here, not say it, but be your come down.
I think he was told off about the bullshit allegations. I think somebody told him off about the phrase he used to use, the bullshit allegations. They're not really bullshit. You might not agree with them, you might not believe them, but they're not bullshit. We know that.
It was a result of this false narrative that this horrible woman put out on you, and you didn't have control.
Allegations, not narrative. Wrong use of words. Allegation.
Control of it. That's why we get mad.
Right.
It's not like you're like, I'm just going to back off the road. I want to be with the kids and do my thing. You didn't have the choice.
Yeah.
So you're like,
I would argue, and I'm going to down this here, and I'm sure some of you guys would agree. I would argue, even if Bryan Callen wasn't cancelled, didn't get those rape allegations, sexual assault, harassment, whatever, if none of that happened, I still think he's still in the same place, brothers and sisters. If people in the stream chat here are, deep in the T-Fat-K law, you would know that Bryan had many false dawns prior to the cancellation. Many times that he thought his career was finally gonna go on to the next level and he was gonna finally become the famous actor that he thought he was going to be, and it never panned out. Just never was meant to be for him. Unluckily so, because I think he's a pretty decent comedic actor, to be fair to him. I think he's actually, weirdly enough, I think he's a better comedic actor than he is a stand-up. But I think he takes the stand-up easier. Like, he's naturally, quote-unquote, gifted, if that's a good term to use. He's not really funny, to be fair, but I think he's a natural when it comes to it. He has to try. But I think he's actually a better comedic actor all around. But it just wasn't meant to be for him. Wasn't meant to be. For whatever reason, wasn't meant to be. You remember the time when he was on Schooled and he had that show? No, he had a show, The Goldbergs. Then he had Schooled. Before that, it was The Joker. He was meant to pop him, and that didn't really work. He was on there for like 0.5 seconds, of literally a blink, and you miss him type of thing. He had many false dawns. I don't think it was ever gonna work out in the long term. But when it did happen along the way, he got some good credits. He had some fun moments. He was part of a pretty influential moment in terms of podcasting and comedy and shit. He can take credit for being like pride in the fact that he was there in the inception of that whole scene. Legendary clips, all this malarkey, apart from cool shows, lifelong friends. There's a lot to be grateful for. I just don't think he was ever gonna be the Hollywood actor in his head he thought, and it's probably not his fault a little bit. I think it's partly the Hollywood gas, because I remember, if you're deep in the T-Fat-K lore, you would know that one of the funny things about Bryan is that early on, when T-Fat-K was first getting a bit of success around the Fox days, Brendan used to always talk about how he would go around Callen's, or he would meet some of Callen's family, and he'd always pull Brendan to a side and really go out of their way to thank him profusely for literally saving Callen's life. Like, oh my god, he was down bad, nothing was working out, and honestly, T-Fat-K has changed his fortunes around, and it did for a period of time. T-Fat-K was really popular. They were in the bosom of fucking Rogan. They were in his inner circle. They were very, very prominent on that show. It kind of did wonders for both of their careers. That Rogan association early on and shit, it transformed everything, and it made Callen suddenly more appealing. It's a bit frustrating, but it made him more attractive to Hollywood producers and shit. But again, it didn't matter in the long run, because over time it still reverted back to the norm. Even that Rogan bump didn't last forever, and those shows didn't go anywhere, and his career kind of fizzled out and died. So I don't necessarily think those allegations stopped him. I think it kind of brought forward the inevitable, but I just don't think he's being grateful enough for the run he's had, despite some of these hurdles, these challenges, these fucking pitfalls, these allegations that he's had, that most people, it would fucking completely destroy your career and you'd have to get a regular 9 to 5. He hasn't had to do that. I think that is still a good thing, but you know, this motherfucker expects everything. He wants it all. I don't know what he wants really. Like, what, a Netflix special? No one's giving you a Netflix special, bro. Even the people that are lit are not getting Netflix specials. Why would you get one?
Light got dimmed from things that weren't in your control, and that's why we're upset.
I get mad.
That's the difference between you and all the other comics.
He makes a very
you know what's
salient point.
fucking crazy? You know what's crazy about that challenge is that you.
The difference between all the other comics, they didn't have Rogan to rely on. They just failed by themselves. Imagine failing with a Rogan bump that early on, by the way. That Rogan fucking attention, that Rogan spotlight, really boosting your views, really helping you sell tickets, elevating your profile, getting you spoken about in different rooms, maybe allowing you to have more sponsors and ads and shit. So no, the lack of gratefulness is fucking crazy.
This is so crazy. You have to forgive.
B, let's take a break here because, dude, your boy is swapping parts on my Jeep 392, and I'm doing it with the help of our friends at O'Reilly Auto Parts, dude. They don't have these in stock. That's good. They didn't mean anything.
Like, if for any of you,
that's O'Reilly Auto.
You're gonna get people
/fighter.
Let's go. You have to. You have to literally. I'm telling you. Like, if for anybody who's listening, you're gonna get people are gonna do shit to you. I was talking to Rogan about this.
Yeah,
people are gonna.
I'll use Rogan's quote on this because I'm the same as you.
Yeah,
all good. They didn't mean anything. But Rogan goes, "Cool. You can forgive, but do not forget."
No, you don't forget.
Big difference.
But you have to forgive. You have to let them go with love, because otherwise you'll hold on to resentment and hatred,
and it only hurts you.
And also,
only hurts you.
What about if you did it though? He's talking about being magnanimous and, you know, forgiving his accusers. Bro, you did that shit. Bro, you did that shit, man. Just admit it. You did it. You got away with it. It's fine. But don't lie. You did it, man. We all know you did. Like, come on, man. Let's talk the real. Let's talk the real. Like, you did that shit. Let's just talk the real. You did that shit. And I'm not even talking about the R word with that lady, right? With the former girlfriend. Because again, I personally don't believe that. I think that might have been some, like, you know, R play gone bad, because Callen's definitely into that sort of stuff based on what he's spoken about in the past, about his sexual kinks and that comment about women having a predisposition for being R-worded and shit. But the other ones, he definitely did that shit. Pulling out his piece without any encouragement or invitation. Harassing and running around in his underwear with a sales assistant in American Apparel and trying to kiss her. That sounds like Callen to me, bro. Sounds like the Callen that I know and love. Come on, bro. You did that shit. They did that shit. They have to forgive you, not the other way around.
Yeah, and I also look at that anything like that.
Then they win.
And I also look at that whatever happened to me. I always look at it at this.
The fact that he doesn't say it as well is also a big indication that he did it. I don't know if that makes any sense to you people in the stream chat. Listen, what do you guys think? The fact that he never actually says it, the rape allegations, the sexual assault, the sexual harassment allegations, he never actually says it, you know? I think that is a clear indication that he did it. He's always, oh, whatever happened to me, you know, like, so it's vague. It's like, no, say it. Like, say it. He never can say it. Because if he says it, it makes it real, you know? It makes it heavy. It's hard to, like, lie when you say it. Like, if you didn't do it, you didn't do it. That's why fucking Bill Clinton's an expert liar. I did not have sexual relations with that. You know what I mean? Like, but usually if you did something, you can't really say it, you know?
I think all of us hit chaos. Now, it could be cancer. It could be a stray bullet. God forbid, it could be something to my kids. There are so many things that are way worse. Do what you will with me. I know who I am. You stay close to the truth. You're going to eat a dick. You're going to pay a price. But I think that perspective is also really important. But all of these things are a learning experience. The only way out is through, and the only way to understand.
Why are you trying to sound all wise and saged and stuff when he was the one crying to Brendan about his special not having 1 million views? You don't have to convince us. Convince yourself.
And learn them is that way, you know?
You know, well, the reason I get kind of upset in anything regarding both of you gentlemen for two different reasons. The reason I want Bryan to not have to deal with the feeling of malaise, the feeling of disappointment with what he does, is because, like, so many people, especially in the modern era, the last 10 to 15 years with YouTube, with social media and stuff, there's people who like, they have this idea and then something becomes viral, and the next thing you know, they make
powerful bunch.
Yo, big up Purple Pidge. Appreciate you. Thank you for becoming a member. 4 months. You're a legend. Thank you. 4 months of membership, Purple Pidge. You're a fucking G. Appreciate you. Appreciate you.
Watch this guy.
Member only stream coming tomorrow when I wake up. Fingers crossed.
Do the road. I watch it, and then he gets an MTV show, and it's like a little thing here, and I was like, yeah, that guy's funny. And then I'd see him open.
You don't have to apologize, Purple Pidge. You're a member. Members never apologize.
Up for someone else that I went to see at the Orange County Improv or something like it, and I was like, God, it's just consistent. Then The Hangover comes out, and I'm like, fucking, he's funny, man. He's playing different characters in different Hangover movies, but it's the same. And then he tries this podcast. I go on your podcast,
reminding him of his good times. Fucking hell, Mark Cafford, you're not helping, bro. You're not helping Mike Cafford. Do you remember how good he used to be? Mike Cafford, you're not helping, brother. You're not helping.
Podcast, the one that's like man school kind of thing, and it's like, yeah, well, I tried, it didn't work out. I'm gonna, and then next thing you know, I'm gonna do a show with an MMA fighter, and it's just like, no one made you quit. Like, you had what you had, you loved what you do, and you continue going, and it's like that. Those are the people who deserve to be celebrated.
Honestly, I think his agent fucked him. Remember, if you know your teeth at Kalo, do you remember the whole story that Bryan Callen's agent told him he was going to be the next Tom Hanks, and Bryan believed it and kind of was like trying to go in that direction. That's who he modeled his career on. Do you guys remember that bit? Next Tom Hanks. I think whoever that agent was really fucked him over. That's a really unrealistic expectation, you know? And I think Bryan has never been able to fucking be okay with his career, because early on people was thinking he was going to be the next Tom Hanks. And maybe at that stage, he probably thought it was true. You know, The Hangover, all these things he was doing, you know? He probably thought he was on that trajectory. That's who fucked him. His agent fucked him. Really and truly, his agent fucked him.
And, you know, my only advice is, like, keep that in mind when, sure, you would love to cash the same checks that you once cashed. Sure, you probably, because you and I are coming from a different generation, you probably compare yourself as a successful comedian to Eddie Murphy doing Raw. Well,
I'm surrounded by my friends who fly private.
Right, but either way, but the idea of
that's true, by the way. That hurts him. It is kind of, but again, if I'm Bryan, not to be offensive, right? Or not even to be offensive, let's just talk the real. If I'm Bryan Callen, and I've been in the scene as long as he's been in, and I've never had my stand-up special on a streaming platform, I'm going to take that as a huge hint that I'm maybe not that guy. All your friends fly private, cool. But you've never had a special on a streaming platform, bro. Not even one. Not even a part. You know that when they do those specials where, like, you're a part of a cohort, you're like 12 of you, and they break it. You know, remember the specials Netflix used to do? It's not even like you get your own one. You're part of like a Netflix presents. He didn't even get one of those. He got no Netflix specials, no streaming platform specials at all. At that point, you have to look in the mirror and say, maybe you're just not that guy, and that's okay. But to expect to fly private when you're like not that guy is like, and technically you could fly private if you just went and worked for Father. Go work for Father, bro.
A touring comedian, and then someone is like, okay, you know, Seinfeld in his peak and Eddie Murphy in 1986. It's like, that's, you know, there was a time and a place where Kinnison selling out arenas, Dice Clay.
Yeah, of course, Z. That's the actual truth. But that's, again, if you know about your law, you'll know this. Big up Z. They do stand up to become actors. They don't really enjoy stand-up comedy like that. If you know about your law, you'll know early on, Bryan used to always come late to episodes of T-Fat-K. And Brennan used to be pissed. He did take it seriously. He only took it seriously when he was making real money, because he was still trying to pursue a career in acting. He kind of looked down on stand-up. On stand-up and fucking podcasting. But then it's really ironic, right? The irony is fucking hilarious that many years later, the two things that saved him, the two things that have been the most stable, the two things that have allowed him to keep his head above water, the two things that have allowed him to look after his family and be the breadwinner, are the two things that he took for granted the most. Stand up and fucking podcasting. You know? That's the real fucking bittersweet truth of it.
Place selling out, you know, Cowboy Stadium or something, you know? And that is like, it can't be what we measure success by now.
No,
it's
you
like,
can't.
look, there was a time and a place. If you hit 20 home runs in a season,
you're the man.
You were,
is that right?
You were the greatest. You know, you were the best power hitter in the league. 20, that was like a marker. Now people, you're in the middle of the lineup.
Now everybody's throwing 100 miles an hour.
Yeah, and it's like you just got to change the way you look at it, because like at the end of the day, can you sit here and confidently tell yourself like, I'm a damn good comedian and no one's ever held me down? Because there's a lot.
I can truly say that too.
And you should say that.
And you know, part of it's also like we are dealing in a world right now where this business and information and entertainment is like a tidal wave. It's a flash flood. Like there's so much taking our eye off this mark, right? Which is, of course, nobody's going to listen to something for. Well, I do ads, right? I do. I write funny ads and commercials. Yeah. Dude, when you
I do ads. How many jobs this guy has got, bro? He's hustling it, but he's like, you could tell that he's stressed out, man. This is why it's important to just like settle down with your family. Stop trying to be a playboy out here. He got divorced. Like again, all these self-inflicted wounds, man. But Jesus Christ, he's out here hustling, isn't it? Callen's actually got more jobs than Brendan for once. He's actually got a lot of jobs. Fucking hell.
You can hold somebody's, I've looked at the metrics. When you can hold someone's attention, right, in an ad for 4 seconds, 4 seconds, that is considered a win.
The Nobel Prize.
That is considered a win. That is considered
it's not
a
good.
Very long time.
It's not good.
I mean,
you know what I'm saying?
What are we
it's
dealing
not good.
with? Not good. And then
Social
I don't know if
media.
you've seen this, but they're taking somebody, whoever's doing it, is taking Eminem songs and all these different songs and turning them into blues songs.
Yeah.
And this is not a real person singing. And the voices are so good.
So good.
And the music is so good that it's actually astonishing. And you start to go, what's going on here? Because I'm actually loving this music.
Right.
Rogan put it on. I got hip to it because Rogan put on.
I think it's okay. I think it's overrated, but go.
Yeah, but
We've
he
talked
put
about
on. But like, I love the lies you tell. I think by Eminem. I think it's called. I love the way you lie to me or some shit. It's so good.
Yeah.
And he put it on, and he goes, "Yeah, this is AI. I don't give a fuck. It's good." And I was like, "I get it."
Look at it this way.
What's going on? What is happening?
Well, okay. There's a way to enjoy both and keep things in perspective. I was on my way over here listening to Slayer songs, but done as P-Funk, and it's fucking awesome. I mean, it's fucking awesome. Like the Parliament Funkadelic has never had music this amazing, and Slayer's never sounded cooler. The reality is like, yes, it sounds awesome. I would love to listen to it. No one wrote that.
Right.
Jeff Hanneman had to go and write those riffs and bring them to Kerry King and write the lyrics.
Right.
And then you know, Parliament Funkadelic and Bootsy had to give bass lines, and then George Clinton had to orchestrate. That's where the human connection to something changes it. And we will have AI grow.
I was going to ask you.
Young kids don't give
I was going to say,
do.
we do because we grew up that way. Our young kids, if this is the new normal, are young kids really going to care? This woman is like married to Luigi Mangioni's AI, so she's in a relationship.
She's mentally ill.
Insane. Yeah.
Yeah, but
that bitch is crazy.
But this is a whole thing.
Well, for
people
that
are having
crazy
relationships with AI people.
They'll care.
Go
They'll
touch
care.
grass.
Let me tell you.
You know what? Go touch tits.
I get
go touch grass. Go touch tits. What are you talking about?
I get really defensive over this because I look at younger generations with much less cynicism than I think most guys my age or older do. Because I say, like, you got to understand, like, if I was...
Because I want to fuck them.
Talking to these kids at jiu-jitsu the other day, and they're 21 years old, they go to UT, and they were talking about how they don't go to parties and stuff like that. They just sit around and like, they game and they hang out with their buddies and they sit in different apartments and dorms and stuff. And I was like, you don't go, like, parties looking for chicks and everything. It's like, God, I can meet chicks on my
Chicks
phone.
are gay,
I just
man.
scroll and maybe hit up dating apps and everything. And then I was like,
Chicks are gay.
so ready to do that. And I really took a moment. And I thought, if 20-year-old Mike had the ability to get pussy through my
swipe,
phone
I
and
know,
not leave,
I know.
I went to bars and clubs all day. You know why? I fucking had to. There was not going to be a reasonably attractive girl walking
But
through
you
my
also
door.
develop the skill of talking, communicating.
Absolutely.
It's so many different people.
And your boys,
girls.
and you're doing the whole, you're hanging.
It's such a better time than you swiping on your phone. You guys are fucking it all.
Well,
you're fucking the whole game up.
it's the
dude.
best time.
You're missing out.
It was the best
Because
time.
even if you struck out the hot chick, at least you're with your boys and you're getting roasted. You're having drinks.
Yeah.
Dude, you and I met when I was, well,
The best.
Yeah, I mean,
The
yeah.
best.
Yeah, it was.
I get embarrassed
That's the
because he
problem.
seems human. I got to piss too. Come on.
All right, break.
Let's take a little break. You guys just watched me down a Magic Mind Max.
Hopefully, after they watched your special.
After you watch the special, my special is a lot like getting a bunch of shots. Of
Well, your
Magic Mind
special was powered by
It was
our friends at Magic Mind.
It was. The Abraham Accords are historic.
So sad.
All right, let's.
They're shilling the special even during the Magic Mind fucking ads. Callen's heart's not even in it anymore. Look at his face, how sad he
Special
looks.
is a lot like getting a bunch of shots. Of
Well, your
Magic Mind
special was powered by
It
our
was.
friends at Magic Mind.
It was.
It was. His heart's not really in it.
Abraham Accords are historic. All right, let's wrap this up.
Let's
Mike
do it,
Catherwood.
Bubba.
Boys, go see my special, False Gods. Get Mike Catherwood's book.
Thank you.
A meeting.
Jesus Christ. Honestly. Tears in the chat for Bryan Callen's special. Tears in the chat for Callen's special, man. Crying Callen, not what you think of, not appreciative of his success thus far. All things considered, he should be happy that he even has a career, but he's not content, he's not satisfied, he wants more, and he's upset about it. So here it is. Here we are. But in time I think he will look back on it and he'll change his mind. But I think it's fucking hilarious though. I think it's fucking hilarious how he had this intervention, this therapy session to talk him off a ledge because he thought he would get 1 million views in a week or something. Bro, the guy next to you bought his views. That's why he's talking like that. That's why he's so chill. He faked his whole fucking comedy career and it still didn't work. It still didn't help. He still got 2 of the worst rated comedy specials of all fucking time. What would you rather? Would you rather be Brendan Schaub or be Hugh? Like, honestly, man, it's okay. It's not that bad. All things considered, it's not that bad, Bryan Callen. All things considered, it's not that fucking bad. But again, what do I know? Absolutely nothing. Okay, people, I'm a bounce. It's 3 a.m. I'm a bouncing. It's 3 a.m. or 5 a.m. now. I'm a bouncing. I'm gonna bounce. Big up everybody in the stream chat. Big up you. Hopefully, if I wake up in time, we'll do another show in the morning, afternoon-ish time. It'll be it'll be a members only live stream, but you'll watch it anyway if you need to watch it. So make sure you smash the like, hit subscribe, and all that malarkey. Before we leave though, have you guys seen this? I'm sure you guys seen this already, right? I'm sure you guys have seen this, right? Before you leave, I'm sure you guys have seen this. You have. Tell me you have to have seen this, right? Pick up the Find the Kids subreddit, guys. I'm sure you guys have seen this. I'm sure you have definitely fucking seen this. This made me laugh so fucking much. If Papa went to Riyadh.
What's Dubai chocolate? Chocolate with sand on top? That's my time, Riyadh.
Please tell me you've seen this. Please tell me you've seen this.
What's Dubai chocolate? Chocolate with sand on top? That's my time, Riyadh.
What's Dubai? Why does that sound like something he would say? Chocolate cover hands? No, sorry, that's just Dave Chappelle. Oi! Anyway, big up the stream chat. Smash the like, hit subscribe, don't be dumb. Smash the like, hit subscribe, don't be dumb. Thank you for tuning in. Apologies for the radio silence. I need a little bit of a break, but we're back once again. I'll see you guys again tomorrow. But for now, be well, be safe. Appreciate all of you. And I'll see you guys again tomorrow.